Docino, I man, I hate it when I mute myself. I thought I unmuted it. I just had a beautiful, perfect introduction to my life tonight. This is Sunday Overtime with the Dennis Herrera Show. And I am here for one major reason, and that is Docino. Docino in the house. He's forced me to come on live and do some overtime on Sunday. I said that I was not going to go live on Sundays. I do have time, free. So there's that. I just got home, and yeah, you know what? I think libtards are a big inspiration for me to go live. How are you, World 2348, 2344, 48? I don't know what I can call you to make that easier. WW2. We'll go with that. WW2. Cray Miss. Thank you, guys. I know I was muted. Bubba. Welcome, Bubba. Robert, my friend. Thank you for the coffee. Today's episode in the Dennis Herrera Show is sponsored by Robert. Thank you, Robert, for the coffee tonight. Coffee is life. Speaking of coffee, there was a person that commented on one of my videos there, and he asked a question, and he said, "When is Dennis getting on live to beg for money?" And it reminded me I should be working my butt off doing this. We do have a couple of months. They're going to go by fast. March and April, couple of months. We got to go. Woo! I don't know how this is going to turn out, guys. I'm setting my very, very low expectations for you guys who know that I am going to be putting my name on the ballot for governor here in Washington State. Yes, the way I dress is going to change. Maybe the way I talk has to be tuned a little bit, but I am more than glad to do it. If it means that I'm going to be able to be a better communicator, well, then I'm going to go ahead and do that. And my show, however, it is an 18 plus rated YouTube podcast show. So if I drop the S word and the N word and the H word and the C and the LG and the, I don't know, whatever other word is out there. If I drop it in here, just know that this show is for 18 plus. So if you're not 18, ask your parents for permission. Most of my audience is my age or older. So I got a lot of big bros. A lot of big bros in the house. What's going on here? Yeah, Dosito is the major reason why I'm actually here. Bill, welcome, Bill. Good to see you. Well, I'm sure I already gave you a couple of props. Let's see, United, welcome. Don't know if you said anything wrong, but just kidding. Tells me that you might be misbehaving. Let's see. Now, I love having you guys here. Kelvin, welcome. Welcome to... I didn't even get to welcome Kelvin Jackson. I think Kelvin Jackson wants to misbehave. Might be put in timeout for a little bit. Not yet. Just a warning out there. I might remove all my admins on my chat unless I need you. We'll see where we go from there. My love to all of you guys. Gary Zolkowski. May God's strength, wisdom, and courage. May God's peace, love, and joy, blessings, and grace be with you all. Thank you, Gary. Very nice. I appreciate that. I'll take all the prayers and I'll take all the good, kind words that I can get. In my channel, I get hated a lot by the libtards when they show up. Most haters, though, are pretty good about it. So here is something that I haven't really played with this too much. I know how to use a lot of software. I don't want to, just waste a lot of my time, using, I don't know. Maybe I'm just lazy. Who knows? Paul Warner's over there laughing at one of my videos. Bernie L, good evening, sir. Here we are, Sundays. I tried to make a commitment that I will not go live on Saturdays and Sundays. And well, I went live last night. There is too many leftists and too many far stream rightist people out there that are just not helping us. They're just not helping us. So I had no choice but to come on live, and I will take questions today. So do not be discouraged. I will take questions. I made this little tool, this little wordings here for you. Let me see. Let me go ahead and show it. Check this out, guys. I made this just for you guys. Let me hide this. Where is my window? I haven't touched this display forever. Check this out, guys. Check this out. Not that one. This one. I made a little sign for people because sometimes they like BCJ, they always complain that they can't see my phone number. Check this out. Let me know what you think. Bam! What do you think? Did I spell everything right? Let's have a conversation. Yes. Phone number is correct. Bada bing, bada boom. What do you guys think? We're moving on up here in the mobile studio and the studio/bedroom one here in the Dennis Herrera show. Yeah, I don't appreciate those people that make fun of my background. That is a great background. I wish the wall was bricks. It's not bricks, obviously. It's just the wallpaper that I really like. Normally I use for photos. So that's what the background is, just in case you guys were wondering. We got to do what we got to do with the low budget that we got. But eventually, my friends, hold on. I'm just testing. Don't call yet. Let me remove that. Let me remove that. I got to be ready for the conversation. I apologize. I was just showing you a little taste, just a little taste. I'm just giving you a little taste. We will talk about it. But first, you got to hear some of the things that I think. All right? Life on the Bluegrass. how you doing? Jason, I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. I appreciate you guys. Ken, good to have you here. Anybody else that I miss here? Dirty Grime, do you just ignore it because it's a boring hoax, or you're stupid if you're still interested in it? Uh, I don't know. I think maybe sometimes what it could be is that your guts, your instincts are telling you this is good. I just don't want to accept it. This is what happens when people have TDS. They have TDS and DHS as syndromes. It's a disease that it's really hard to diagnose, but you normally see it when people start denying the facts. Man, I don't know if that was good or not, but anyways, so I hope you guys like that. I'm just trying to do some stuff. Just for you guys, and maybe you guys are probably better than me at this, but there is some software here that you use for streaming. I use Streamlabs, blah blah blah, and I like having my 3 monitors. So I got a monitor here, and a monitor here. I like to have my space. I like to be able to feel like I have all this room, and I want to be able to do all this stuff without any hustle. But there is things that I can do to, like animations and things like that. I just don't want to waste my time with that. I love my American flag waving in the background. I don't feel like I should have a big face so that I can be right up in your face. I think me in a small frame is better, I think. And then, of course, when I share my background, one of my displays that I share with you, it's my big display. So a lot of times when we're watching a live, you'll see me going this way because that's where the big monitor is, and this is where my live streaming is. So a lot of times I go back and forth. Sometimes people think I'm looking up for information. Sometimes I am, but sometimes I'm just looking at different screens for the views. And let's take a look here. Who else do we got in here? Like Trump ignoring the whole I've seen investigation. I don't know what the hell you're talking about, but don't worry. We will get a chance to talk about whatever it is that you want to talk about. William, how are you, my friend? Good evening. Good to see you in here. All right. Couple of things that I want to say before I go ahead and start taking some calls. Okay. One thing is I want to be able to log in. I'm going to share a couple articles that I found very interesting. But let me go ahead and log into my browser chat so that I can put comments on there and give you guys props if there is any super chats, because somebody complained that I had to come over here and beg for money. So I gotta do my dues. I gotta be able to do my work. I'm slacking a little bit, I think, but nonetheless, I am here today. Man, I want to have my Sunday and Saturday off. I really do, but I can't stand people out there just giving misinformation left and right. Like I was going through my feed, just kind of watching some stuff, and then what was the guy's name? There's a girl with the glasses. She looks like she's about 15 years old, and then Paulie something. The guy just looks like he's a little bit too ignorant in many things. He thinks with emotions, not with common sense. He doesn't do any critical thinking, etc., etc., etc. All right, let me go ahead and remove this here to subscribe. I don't want to see it. I'd rather see that big spot there for the flag. And no, I think that's good right there. All right. So here we go. Yeah, politics. That guy's a moron. I'm sorry. You know what? I don't really blame him. I know that they have their script. I know that they have their information that they read over and over. And I can tell you that the young girl gets bored when she does her show because, she's reading the same things over and over. Now they double team and they take phone calls together. And, they like to double team because by themselves, I guess they're not as strong. Who knows? Nonetheless, I don't hate them. They just get on my nerves sometimes. They feel like, They think they know everything, but they really don't think about Americans. Like they have a lot of information. And I'll say this, and I say this to many people. Hey, Tanya, how are you, sis? Good to see you on here. I will tell you that there's a lot of very smart people out there. There's a lot of smart people, but there's not that many wise people. And there's a big difference. I'd rather be wise than smart. Okay? So I don't want to have this big memory bank that I can record and recollect everything 100%. But I'd rather be able to be true every time that I open my heart or whenever I speak about something that I believe in. All right. So before we start having the conversation, let me see. Hold on. Give me a sec. No, 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 no. Let me see. Can I do that from here? Hold on, guys. I have this little stand, and I don't know if it's gonna be good enough to hold the phone so that you guys can hear. But I guess we'll find out once we get started, right? All right. So let me read a couple of things that I wrote down today. Now, you guys already know that the things that are going on, in Iran and all that stuff. So. But let me tell you this is the conversation that we can have. Democrats, unfortunately, it is what it is. Hey, Wavy, how are you? Democrats have chosen to just sacrifice Americans because they do not like a person. I want to start off, before I read the comments that I wrote down to read to you guys, I want to start off with this. There is a reason why I don't trust the judicial system anymore. The judicial branch is no longer trustable. They're no longer, justice is supposed to be blind. But that's not the way that they judge. They judge by, with activism in their minds. They judge with prejudice. They don't make a rational decision for the better of the country, for the better of Americans. They have some sort of agenda on what they're doing. Like, how can it be that a nobody like me can put America first and know that the things that we are doing are constitutional, that are for the best of the people? I would think that the judicial branch will do a better job than us, right? Than us, that we don't know the law. We don't know all the law. And so let's just get that out of the way, okay? So I don't trust, let me just put this here. I hope I don't spill my coffee. I don't trust the judicial branch at all. Okay, even when they actually do something that is fair and just for us. Okay, legislative branch. I don't trust the legislative branch because they are prejudiced. They seem to be racist. For some reason, I'm sure Rashida Tlaib thought it was funny when we were chanting USA. She was chanting KKK. Ironically. We all know that the Democratic Party is the creators of the KKK. But you know what? I know she was probably just trying to be funny, but it's not funny. Not when it comes to something like this. When you are asked if the government should put American citizens before illegal immigrants, stand up. And you decide at that moment, because you do not like Trump, because you do not want to give him any credit for anything that he does, the moment that you sit down and don't stand up for us, the American citizens, you know what I saw? I saw this, and you're going to excuse me for my expression here, but this is what I saw from Democrats. That's what I saw. And hello, we pay them. Our taxes pay their salaries. They work for the people. And they just stuck the big bird to us. Because it doesn't matter. I don't care, and there's a reason why I'm mentioning it. I don't care if you like or don't like President Trump. If the policies are being followed for the best interest of the American people, then support that. Forget about supporting the guy. Nobody cares about supporting the guy. Okay? So I just want to point that out. So here we go. I'm going to read a couple of things for you guys. Democrats against Americans. This is what I was, when I woke up this morning, this is what I wanted to write down. And maybe I made a mistake, but let's see if I can make sense of it. They defend leaders who oppress and kill their own people. Like Nicolas Maduro. Like Khamenei. What's his name? I forgot his name. Like Iran. Khamenei. I think it's Khamenei. And they go against us. They go against leaders who want peace. They don't understand diplomacy can only be used so long. But they don't care. They don't care about us. Listen, they'd rather have the world hate us instead of defending us. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't care if you don't like President Trump. But they made a statement by sitting down, give us the finger, chanted KKK when we chanted USA, and they defend every criminal leader from other countries. And they hate our leader. How does that work? How does it work when the party keeps saying that we are destroying democracy, and yet we put President Trump in office because of democracy. And they never accepted. So if they're really so much for democracy, let us be. We won. Shut the hell up. Let us do our job. I think President Donald Trump is doing a great job. Here we go. Second, they like to criminalize and celebrate when Christians are killed. But they love to defend Muslims. They get mad that we are attacking on Ramadan. Who cares? That's not our religion. We don't give a crap. That is not the religion of the United States anyways. The foundation of this country was built on Christianity. Even though everybody has the freedom of religion. I get it. I get it. But just because you call something religion doesn't mean that it's good for us. Islam was created as a political movement. It's not a true religion. And I'm sorry to bust your bubble. If you have friends that are Muslims or if you believe to be Muslim yourself, I mean, no disrespect to you, but you've been lied to. You've been lied to. You know, when people talk about the conquistadors, you know, and this whole, you know, horrible Christian, you know, what do you guys call that? Oh, my God, the name is escaping me. But all the horrific things that people did in the name of Christ, you know, we condemn those. We do not support it. We speak against it. We fight against it. But, you know, Muslims can't do that. They can't speak against them. They can't fight against them. But we as Christians do. I mean, even if you don't like me because I say I'm a Christian and I have a foul mouth, listen, I don't need your approval to be saved. And I think I said this before. The only one, my soul is solely on the hands of Jesus Christ. He is my Lord. He is my King. He is my Savior. Nobody, none of you on my chat give me salvation. Do you understand that? I cannot give any of you salvation. Only Christ the Lord can do that. So you can judge me all you want. And as Jesus Christ said, cast the first stone if you're free of sin. And guess what? Nobody is. Inquisition. Thank you, Bill. That is it. The Inquisition. I'm against that. Regardless of what history has done, we know the bad things and the good things. And the difference is, as my boss once says, Dennis, you can make a mistake. Don't do it again. Because it's costly. It's costly. So I use the same thing, when it comes to religion. I use the same thing when it comes to history. The leftists want to, hey, Philip, the leftists want to, remove statues. Oh, this is racist. Oh, this guy was this, and oh, he was that. I love what this, I forget what his name is, but he's actually a descendant of slaves, and he speaks so well because he was in the military, and he speaks about one of the forts. And he says, you know what's so wonderful? And I'm paraphrasing here. I'm cutting it to my own words. He said, to be able to show my kids, do you see this right here? There was a day where we were not allowed here. And this statue was here and we were not able to look at it. But this statue is a reminder of our history so that we don't repeat it again. And yet the leftards, that's what I call the ones that don't know who they are, they like to remove statues. They like to change names of things. And they hate President Trump when he does it. But when they do it, it's all good. No. I'm a big believer that we don't need to change history. Number one, we cannot change history if we start removing reminders of what happened with the Confederates. If we start removing names on buildings and forts and things that remind us of history and how great it is that this is America, that we are who we are today because of all the bad stuff that's happened. If we forget about history, we are doomed to repeat it. Am I right? Just saying. And then, the other thing is everything that they want us to do is just hate the United States of America. Just hate the United States of America. I find very interesting, even on the news, right? Because not many people actually talk about this. But the Democrats will just jump on the wagon and say, oh, President Trump is attacking, is illegal, it is wrong in many levels and this and that. But you know what? I would love to hear the Democrats say, as Senator Fetterman said, country before party. And he says it over and over again. That evil regime leader, that regime that is fighting with us right now, they killed thousands, tens of thousands of their own people. They don't care. Look at them. They're Muslims. They're Arabs. What do? They attacked other Arab countries. They don't care. They don't care. That's exactly how Democrats today act with us as Americans. They don't put Americans first. It's their political power first. Not us. They don't care about illegal immigrants. They just use them like slaves. They are the party of the KKK, doggone it. And again, if we forget history, we are bound to repeat it. There's a lot of Republicans, common sense people out there that talk about, if you want to hire, this is a Florida, who was this, Attorney General or the Chief of Police in Florida? There was one of the leaders in Florida, okay? And I think I might have a video for it. But he was talking about if you go and hire illegal immigrants, okay, you will be responsible for it. The system should not pay for it. If they get hurt under your watch, it should come out of your pocket, not the system's money. And I agree with that. On top of that, of course, they can get fined for hiring illegal immigrants anyway, right? Isn't that right, Brian? All right, so the problem that I have, with Democrats is, they have like a 50% truth to everything they say. Very rarely do I agree with them. And we would probably agree on a lot more things if they didn't just go on a rampant of just hating President Trump. That is the key right here. That as long, and they have shown this so many times, as long as they get their man, they don't care how many American lives get sacrificed. It is a fact. They just gave us the big bird. All Republicans, interestingly enough, all Republicans, including Fetterman and a few other Democrats, stood up when President Trump says, if you believe the government should put American citizens first before any illegal immigrants, stand up. They stood up. The swamp didn't. I'm still kind of a little butthurt about the swamp not being drained. So I'm with you guys. If you guys are upset about that, I'm with you on that note. Now, here's the thing. And I want to make this very clear. And hopefully, if you're planning on calling in, okay, if you're planning on calling in, I hope you're paying attention to what I'm saying. Okay, so that way, you know what questions to ask, and then we can have a great conversation. Okay? They are against this fighting Iranian regime. We are there to help Iranians take back their country. They make a big deal about 2 citizens that obstructed ICE, got violent with ICE, and lost their lives. They go crazy about that. And they want to impeach, and they want to blame President Trump. I mean, Ilhan Omar said President Trump killed 2 of her constituents. That's what she said. She put that on X account. And I read that post, and I think I saved it on my X account. But you know what? They say nothing about Khomeini. They don't say nothing about him. Oh, no, why he go and do that? Oh, my God, he just did. You know what? Shut up. My third point. If we have sleeper cells in our country, we will blame the Democrats because of their open border policy. Millions of illegal immigrants came through that border because of Democrats. The Biden administration allowed millions of illegal immigrants, and you know what? We see them on the chat here all the time. We see them on the streets protesting, pretending to be legal minorities out there protesting when most of them are illegal. They use the Constitution against us. Yeah, they use the Constitution against us. They like to say, I don't want to show you papers. Of course you don't. Of course you don't. Prove that you're an American citizen. No, I don't have to. Of course you don't have to. Man, ask me. I want to prove. Oh, here we go. Here's my license. Here's my social security number. Blah, 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 blah. Here's my date of birth. I was born in Honduras. I came to this country on this date. I became a resident. Then I became an American. I would love to prove myself. You know why I would love to prove myself to the police and ICE and et cetera, et cetera? Because there is so much pride in my heart about being an American citizen. There's so much pride in my heart that I want to tell the world I am looking for the opportunity for the police to tell me, are you a citizen? And I want to respond, yes, sir. Yes, sir. 100%. I am looking for the opportunity. Come and ask me. Hey, ask me. Am I a citizen? Yes, I am. But yet the libtards. Oh, you shouldn't be asking me. I was born. None of your business. Shut the hell up. Be proud of being an American. You should be happy that the government questions if you're an American citizen. That should tell you that they're doing their job. You should be happy that people that look like me don't get away with being illegal. The people that look like you, white, black, Asian, they don't get away with it. See, they're not prejudiced. You can look American, but they're still going to ask you. There's nothing wrong with asking. Can you give me a high five on the chat if you agree that we should be more than happy to say we're American citizens and I'm waiting for the opportunity to try to prove myself because I'm so excited to be an American. Woo! Let's go. I like that. Iceman, welcome back. You're still not invited to their barbecue. Bro, I just had a barbecue Friday night, but thanks for asking. Yeah, that's right, Royal. Royal Ernesto says, try going to another country and you see how great our country is. They won't accept you because you think you in their side, idiots. I don't know what the hell that means. I'm sorry. I don't understand that. I don't know if that's good or bad. Thank you very much. That's my American citizens right there. My American family right there. High five, waves, thumbs up, prayer, thanks, peace, deuces, etc. Now, here's what I think about the Iran's regime. I think they are evil and weak with no courage, only stupidity. What do I mean by that? I kind of said that a little bit already. They've been threatening. And I don't understand that Democrats stay quiet about this part. They stay quiet about this part, but Iranian people are beautiful. I know many Iranians. I haven't gone for a while, but I will go into the gym and go into the sauna with an Iranian guy. His name is Sam. And, I shouldn't say his name. But you know what? He's Iranian. He's very proud. He's got his own religion. He's got some issues with the Ayatollah and all this other stuff. But you know what? I love Iranian people. All the people that I've met have been great people so far. I know there's a lot of crazies, just like we have crazies here as well. But nonetheless, they're stupid. They're always yelling all the time, death to America. What Democrat in their right mind would be okay with them telling us that? If you're a libtard, you will not understand this. I want you to think about this. Susanna, how are you? I want you to think about this. They threaten us all the time. Now think about it. Don't think you're safe. Open border, millions of illegal immigrants. We don't know who's here. We don't know who is in this country. And you know what? That's right. You guys better have your Second Amendment not taken away from you, because if we do that, these people that are trying to invade us will have an advantage. But every American citizen has the right to bear arms. And I encourage that. Somebody asked me last night if I will bring AR-15s back to Washington State. And I said, absolutely. Put me in office as governor and things will change like you have never seen before. People are going to be like, wait a minute, I didn't know that this is the life that we can have as Washingtonians. Well, you will see. You will see when people are held accountable for everything that they're supposed to be professional about. They're supposed to be there for the people, not for themselves. And none of this woke bull crap. And enough of this DEI BS. And none of this victimhood card that I have to have a bunch of victims in the panel in order for me to be compliant. No. People that have the experience, that have the knowledge, their skills, those are the people that get hired, period. Well, I don't know why it's so hard for libtards to think about that, right? But think about it. Okay, so we have millions of illegals that came to this country. They're not Mexicans, okay? There's a lot of people from the Middle East, all those Arab countries, all the Chinese, all the bad people came through the southern border with Mexicans. Why? Because they kind of look like Mexicans. Not really, but some of them actually do. There's a lot of Arab mix in Mexico as well, so they can kind of, blend in, etc. But the point is, you people on the left never think about these things, that you don't know who is in this country. And people call me a sellout and a coconut and blah, blah, blah. You can tell me all you want. But I'm telling you, and right now it's manifesting, and it shows that I am right once again. Millions of illegal immigrants are enemies invading us. Why? They want to take us by surprise. I will never forget the Trojan horse. Never, ever forget Trojan horse. I'm not going to go explain it to you guys. You guys should know about that. But now we have an attack on Iran. Why? Because Iran, and I'm sorry, not the people. You guys know who I'm talking about. But we have a threat every day for years. Death to America, death to America, death to... And they keep saying that over and over, and they were preparing their missiles. We destroyed the nuclear facilities so that they wouldn't have nuclear capabilities. But then people don't think on the left. See, they know this part, and then they don't understand why we continue to be putting pressure. They don't understand. Like, either they don't listen, they never heard it, or nobody has been telling them. But the truth is, they were working on missiles that were intercontinental, meaning that they can reach all the way here to the United States of America. And that is a fact. So when they kill 30,000 of their own people, imagine what they would do to us, who is not their people. Imagine that. But the Democrats, for some reason, they support that. They give them the power. By the way, this is minus another friend that China and Russia don't have. Venezuela, -1. Iran, -2. Cuba, -3. Coming soon to a theater near you. Cutting Edge. America, hell yeah. This guy. All right, here we go. Number 2. When the USA makes an attack, we first seek peace through diplomacy. That's a fact. We try that. We want to make deals. We want to make some agreements. We don't want war. But we believe on peace through strength. So as Jet Li said in the movie The One, what he says, I am nobody's bitch. You are mine. Well, it's not really like that, but that's kind of how it is. We are nobody's dog. We're big bro. We are humans who believe in justice and fairness. We use diplomacy as much as we can, but if you start killing people, if you start threatening, we ain't gonna put up with that. And bada bing, bada boom, you got what's happening right now. And you can say, dang it, Dennis was right about that as well. That's okay. You can say it. You can say it. I warned you about this. I warned you about this. When there is no deal or agreement to keep peace, we attack. Yeah, I just don't want to. I don't really like to use the word bitch too much, but that's what I mean. Female dogs, okay? Female dogs. Iran gets hit. Leadership gets taken out. The people left are cowards. That's who's in charge of Iran's military right now. Cowards who have no brains. Why do I say that? Because they attack even those who could be an ally by their side. They attack their own people. They attack their own families. Where does it end? Where does it end? You know, I like President Trump's speech, you know, where he's talking about, okay, we already attacked. It's time for Iranians to stand up, be courageous, and take your country back. There's going to be some casualties. People literally are giving their lives for their country. And all the Democrats can think of is, how can we make Trump look bad? You know what that is? All the sacrifices that the Iranian people are doing for their country, for their family, for their loved ones, it's in vain. It's in vain because Democrats do not support them. Democrats want to support chaos. Let's not forget that they really believe when they are doing a protest, rioting, destroying property throughout the city, they call that peaceful protest. They're impeding eyes. They're throwing rocks at them. They're throwing sticks. They're throwing, all kinds of stuff. They're breaking windshields. They're breaking side windows and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They call that peaceful protesting. Well, well, well. I'm going to tell you, you can't make this up. You cannot make this up. You see the protesters, right? On the street. Shut up. Get out of here. Shut up. Get out of here. And you know what? We have the freedom of speech as well. This is our country as well. What gives you the right to take away my right? You're fighting for your right. Don't be a hypocrite. Defend the right of the American citizens. Our rights do not belong to illegal immigrants. They got human rights, not legal rights. They are illegal and they all got to go. All right. Hopefully you've been listening. And if you haven't, I will go ahead and bring it back up again. But I'll go ahead and put in the phone number. And let's have a conversation. I'll give you 5 minutes to make your case, make your point, make your comment. But I am really going to keep it to 5 minutes. You go over it, you get it hung up on. All right? All right. I want to give as many people access to the line. All right, let me get rid of this screen here and show you my new work of art. There you go. So nobody can say that they don't see the phone number. You are now free to call. Ba-da-ba-ba-bam. Ba-da-ya, ba-da-ya-di-ya-di-ya. You said, what? Cuff says, Dennis, you're a meatball. Yeah, that's great. Your insults are empty. They mean nothing. I wish you had brains to actually have a conversation. Come on, somebody that wants to have a conversation. Guys, even if you're my patriots, you can call in as well. There's the phone number. If you want to block it, I do not take block calls anymore because people have been abusing that. All right. I don't have nobody screening my calls. So that's why I say that. Okay. All right. Go on. Give me your part. Especially if you have been insulting me through all this whole time. I want you to go ahead and call in and stop insulting me. But I want to hear your brains. I want to hear your logic, and stick to the subject. Okay. We're talking about Iran. And Iran has everything to do with open borders. Remember this, sleeper cells. We don't know if there's any or how many, if there is. Right now, the Iranians already take the capital, Tehran. Plus, our forces sink the only one ship they have. That's a big navy. All right, who's calling?
Hey, it's me.
Who? Cutting Edge?
Coffee supplier.
Oh, Robert. What's going on, my big bro? Thank you for the coffee, my friend.
Not much.
All right, can you guys hear him?
You shouldn't be all that surprised at the guy's insult that he has no brains. Because if they had brains, they wouldn't be libtards.
Okay. Sorry, I was testing the sound, Robert. Yeah, I know I shouldn't be surprised, but I still got to say it because it makes him feel special.
You know.
My man just joined us.
If he had a brain, he wouldn't be a libtard.
Well, they have a brain, but they're not using it
For himself, and instead of letting the demon crabs think for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I just wanted to call in and say hi and
thank you, brother.
I am feeling a little bit better. But other than that, I'm doing all right.
So what do you think? What do you think about the? Robert? Are you surprised about the attack?
No.
What were you expecting from this? Were you expecting troops on the ground? What else do you think we could have done to avoid any strikes on Iran?
What could we have done?
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing. They got what they freaking deserved.
Yeah.
They basically said, "Hey, coward, come get me," just like Maduro did.
Venga por mí, cobarde! Come for me, you coward! Okay, I'm coming.
we we should have went after him a long time ago.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Why take out just their nuclear facilities? When we were over there, we should have took that toll out at the same time.
Yeah. Well,
Saved us some jet fuel.
you know why? Because people, just like the Epstein files, right? People automatically blame President Donald Trump. And so he forced Congress to take responsibility for releasing the files.
And you want to know why Trump's in the Epstein files for 30,000 times, so they say?
Yeah.
It's because every time Epstein opened his mouth from jail, he was cussing Trump out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because Trump is the whistleblower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trump was the one that called the FBI in.
That's right. People don't know that.
Tell these damn libtards.
Yeah. Well, they always say, Trump wants to start World War III. Well, you know what? He's been doing a lot of talk, a lot of deals with the Middle East. Remember the whole peace in the Middle East? He had a deal with Hamas. Hamas broke that deal. Israel attacked and this and that. And they blame President Trump for all of that. And now we have Iran.
Is what these libtards don't understand either.
Yeah.
Okay, Iran went after our military bases that are in the Middle East.
Yeah.
Okay, you can guarantee a bunch of Middle Eastern civilians got killed. Okay.
Yeah.
So why shouldn't Saudi fire back? Why shouldn't Kuwait?
Yep.
Why shouldn't Iraq if they got hit? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I think that all of us who think alike, we don't want to hurt the Iranian people. We want to make sure the military is taken out.
The people themselves, we just want to get rid of the leadership so that they have a chance.
Yeah. I agree. All right, you got 1 minute.
A bunch of libtards can't think.
You got 1 minute, Robert.
I know. But I'm going to let you go, Dennis, so we can get back to the live and see if one of the libtards is going to be not chicken shit and actually call in for once.
Hey, big hug to you, my friend, and a big hello and shout out to your family. God bless you and your family. Thanks for calling, big bro.
Yeah, God bless you and your family too, Dennis.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you so much. You have no idea.
Yep.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right. Anybody else wants to have that conversation with me? You got 5 minutes. Good for me. The phone actually has a timer. I have the software, just so you know. I have the software where I can use it on my computer, but for some reason it just doesn't work. I don't know. Maybe it's me. It might be me, but the phone loses the connection on there. So go ahead and give me a call. We got 5 minutes. You can ask me a question, or I can ask you a question. Give me your commentary. How do you feel about these attacks from President Donald Trump? And stick to the subject, please, so that we can have a conversation. All right, let me get more coffee. All right. Anybody? Come on. Tonight is the night. Don't let the time be wasted. Let's see. All right, Tanya, you can call. Raj, babe, how are you? How is Eastern Washington treating you? Rush, babe, just so you know, I haven't called you to set up that lunch because we're not going with the nephews over there anymore. But we can talk about it later. All right, let's see who's calling in. All right, who's calling? Thanks for calling, by the way. Who do we have on the line?
Hello?
Hey, who's talking?
My name's Nick.
Hey, Nick, how are you, Nick?
I'm good. I was watching a channel and then lost it on YouTube. But
It's all good.
I was trying to watch it while
It's all right.
Anyway, I think it's a really good thing
Why do you think it's a good thing?
because it's the same demographic around there. they're always, it's pretty much like they're always terrorists, right? We shouldn't take out the good people, but we should take out the bad people.
That is correct. Yeah.
Sounds like we've taken out a lot of their leaders, and now they've bombed our military base.
Yeah, I saw that, and I think there's casualties. As a matter of fact, yeah, I'll go ahead and put the breaking news after this phone call. I think I like that you said that because we're trying to we're trying to protect the innocent, and I want to add that for anybody that says that we just don't like Muslims or Arabs and that we're racist, let's put things into perspective. We are not destroying the country, which we can. We're not attacking the Middle East. We're not attacking Qatar. We're not attacking the Arabian. We're not attacking none of those brothers. I think President Trump and the administration have shown how much they appreciate those who are willing to work for peace, and how much they don't have tolerance for those who want to wear war. You agree with that comment?
I do, and America's always been the police of the world.
Yeah.
Which, I think we should do exactly what we're doing. We should have bombed their bunkers. We should stop them having nuclear power. All of the Middle East.
Yeah, and we were judged. Remember, we were judged for doing that, for saying those things, and I just don't understand why some Americans don't appreciate that.
Well, it's nice to see that your channel's on here because a lot of what I see on YouTube is everybody hating. Everybody's on the Democrat side, and
yeah,
not a lot of people fighting for the Republican, idea.
We're not fighting for Republican ideas, even though we're supported. Right. We're supported. You know what I mean? Yeah, we're fighting for American values. And I think that this is who we are as Americans. Now, I'm a migrant. If you're new to my channel, I am a migrant that became an American citizen, and I'm very proud of that. And I tell my children that they are not Honduran. They are not Samoan. They are not anything else but Americans. Now, they can say, they have a little bit of ethnicity from the father and the mother. They can say that. But in nationality, there is only one color in their heart. And that is the red, white, and blue with 50 stars on it. That's what I want my kids. My kids are only Americans. It's funny that a lot of people don't know what American values is. Somebody's asking on the chat. Our American values, to me, is our religion, our faith in God, our family nuclear, husband, wife, children, the American dream, be able to afford to own a house with a white picket fence and a car for you to be able to go to work and afford to buy groceries for your family. Those are values that we care about. We care about peace, but we also care about peace through strength because we have tried talking, and that doesn't work. And we have to show some muscle. And it's not just BS talk. We have to act. And I think right now, if you're looking at these attacks, I think they're just. I mean, Senator Fetterman agrees with me that, this needs to happen. The Iranian people, they were desperate need of our help. And, well, we gave it. We're still giving it. But, we fight for the innocent. People say that we're going there for money. No, this is not the Gulf War. This is not the Gulf War with George Bush. This has nothing to do with oil.
Venezuela's oil tankers.
Yeah, no. We could have gotten that oil with Nicolas Maduro. But that's not the part that we went. We went to make sure that we have an open trading again, that we can have a democracy restored to Venezuela. And you see that we didn't change the regime. We are going to allow Venezuelans to make up their own mind. We took out Nicolas Maduro. We have a bounty on his head. And there's other people that we have bounties on. But because of the cooperation of the new President Delcy, we're seeing some changes in here. Plus, we saw a reduction now. It's probably up to 30%, of less deaths of fentanyl and drugs in our country. So I think those things are positive. And I think that Iran, just in the same way, it's not going to be a week. It's not going to be months. It's going to be years before they're able to reestablish the great Iran that we've known, from decades past. And it's a good thing to see that we are able to help out, at least in this way, that we can give them a little bit of power so that they can go and fight for themselves. CNN, the legacy media, and all the leftists, they're going to spin this, and every single person that gets, missing in action over there, they're going to blame that on President Donald Trump. But let's be realistic that these people need to fight for their country, and that is with their lives. And if we don't help them, they are dying in vain.
I think the difference is that the people that want the freedom, they're overpowered by the people that are taking it from them. And it's been going on for generations.
Yeah.
And it's not only going to take Trump, but it's going to take multiple presidents after him to change that environment.
I'm going to let you go with this because your time is up. But check this out. One thing that I want you to notice. President Donald Trump attacked Iran and Venezuela. What do they have in common? Don't worry, you don't have to know the answer because only I know the answer because it's my own makeup.
There could be a bunch of answers.
Yeah, but the answer that I'm looking for is this. Come and get me, you coward. Death to America.
Oh, yeah.
Right? They threatened us even after we tried to make peace with them, and they laughed and mocked and they flexed on us and they threatened us. Well, they ain't threatening us anymore, right? All right, thanks for your call. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it.
Take care. All right, anybody else that wants to have a conversation? If you have a question, just go ahead and call that number right there. I'm leaving it there for a reason. Let's have a conversation. Thank you guys for being respectful, by the way. No need to be arguing and fighting. I can just tell you what I see, but you can also tell me what you see as well. That's the whole idea about having you call in. And please respect my time. I don't want to work on Sundays. Can I have one day off for myself? I would love to. Let's see. Dirty Grime. Okay, well, listen, man, just be respectful. That's all you got to do. Let's see. That's not true. Don't lie either. Russia and North Korea are next. I don't think so. As bad as you think that Putin is, as bad as you think that, I forget, that Kim Jong is, there is something about these guys that they're not just going to attack the United States of America. Let me go ahead and remind you that Khomeini, I think that's his name, right? Somebody correct me. Khomeini, again, was the one that was saying death to America, and he was preparing those missiles to attack us. So there's that. Thank you for calling. Who are we talking to?
Yeah, hey, my name is Jake.
Jake.
I tried to call you earlier.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah. So what's going on, Jake? How are you doing? Good?
No, I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm doing good. What do you think? What's going on today with this whole Iran thing? What is your take?
I agree with what you said. I was fine with the idea of making peace and everything like that, but the threats and everything like that, we haven't had a backbone for years.
Yeah.
We've been under decline. We've been doing all these things that I disagree with. I mean, with the last administration, I didn't feel safe to have conversations. I didn't feel safe to be able to, share my opinion and everything along those lines. I voted for Trump for specifically this thing. I want America to be a beacon again. I want us to be a representation of what you can achieve. And you can't do that in countries where they'll go after, they'll threaten your families. They'll go into their own hospitals. They'll kill their own people. Iran they needed to change.
Yeah, I agree. They've been asking for it, man. They've been begging us. And we, I mad respects for Trump. I always tell people, put your personal feelings for him aside. Like me, I like him, okay? But I don't just like everything that he does because I like him. There's a big difference. Like for example, I got really good friends. But just because I got good friends doesn't mean that I go and do what they do, But when they do something, whether you're a friend of mine or not, I always give you props. So I got to give President Donald Trump some props because, he could be this lunatic that Democrats make him out to be, and we would have just destroyed so many countries already. We would have been dominated. We would have been just as bad, and just give me a break on this one. Just as bad is China and Russia and North Korea. But we're not. And the only reason why those three dogs don't come and bite anybody is because we have the biggest stick. It's that simple. So, I think that Iranian people deserve better. They have been suffering. There's, thousands and thousands of people that have been dying over there. Thousands of people left because of that, just in the same reason as why over 8 million Venezuelans left Venezuela, and Venezuela was a rich country. If you look at videos or pictures of Iran, bro, from 2-3 decades ago, it is since this guy took over in '89, it's just everything went down the toilet. You know what I mean? And Iranian people, they know this, and they miss that. And as a migrant that became an American citizen here, I can tell you this: I don't just fight for me here. I fight for this country. Whether I can serve military, but not everybody's meant to be a soldier. But I can tell you that I support this country 100%. And the only reason why I do that is, number one, I am very thankful for the privilege of being an American, and number two, this is the country that is going to be for my children and their children's children. And if we don't stand up for it, the enemies, they just want to tear us down. They're not going to stand up for it. Let me read the super chat before you have another comment here. Cutting Edge says, remember, this isn't a forever war. That's true. We only do what we need to do because they don't want to negotiate. Zero boots on the ground. And if they do something again, well, I agree, brother. All right. What else did you want to say, my friend?
I just wanted to say, I really appreciate the opportunity to just have a conversation. I wanted to say, to me, one of the biggest problems that I see right now, the left or the right, I refer to it as what I call the Matilda syndrome. Like the Democrats on this side, they for years, it was like, I'm right, you're wrong, I'm big, you're small, I'm smart, you're dumb. So that's why I refer to it as the Matilda syndrome.
I see.
And I think that there's been so much fear-mongering about the what-ifs and everything like that on the left that they don't allow for the possibility in their minds that anything positive could possibly equate from Trump. And that division and the fact that they refer to him as all, the Nazi, everything like that. I mean,
that's the biggest mistake, I think.
It's so laughable to me to be in a situation where you preach about democracy, but then you don't stand by it.
100%. Yep, you said it, brother. I agree. That's my biggest argument.
I am not a globalist at all, and I think that's the problem that the Democrats have right now. They wanted to get involved with that whole democratic thing and the globalist idea. And we're not ready for that as a society, as a world. We're not ready for a globalist society. We're just not.
Well, I'm glad you touched on that one because I think, I like globalism, but I'm a nationalist, and you have to know that. I don't know if you're Hispanic, but I'm Hispanic, and the way that I speak my English is with the description that I have in Spanish. So I could be wrong on using certain words sometimes, plus my accent, right, doesn't help, but the way that the words play in Spanish, they're much more descriptive. That when I tell you that I'm a nationalist, that is a nation, citizen of a nation. That's what a nationalist is to me. And that means that you put the nation first and then the global, that's why I'm saying I'm a nationalist, but I'm a globalist, meaning that I'm not okay with China or any country. Okay, let's poor China. I pick on China a lot. Any country to take advantage of us, and then I'm going to be okay because some people are doing okay in the United States, but the rest of the country is going down the toilet. I can't support that. So I cannot allow globalism to treat us like, we're just some shit people. No, it needs to be fair. It needs to be just. We are 1/3 of the market in the world. Every country should be begging for us to work with them, and they don't, because I don't know who said it today, but they say we have no guts, that we are weak. I think you were saying that, right? That Democrats say that? That Democrats say that.
That's the idea.
Yeah, so, that's the way the world looks at us, but, let me add that is the Democrats who keep defending all of these bullies that hate America, and so that's the way they see us. So that's the way they think they can get away with treating us. And we're just not going to play that way. I know I'm giving you a little extra time because I'm taking some of your time. I I'm okay with globalism. I'll buy stuff from China, sure. If I can find it here in the United States of America, I'd rather buy American. It's faster, easier, less hassle, and if you have to pay a few bucks more, I do that because I know that is a lot. I get my product a lot faster, right? People want to be able to get their cheap product from China, even though it takes 2 weeks to get the product. I can get this in 1 or 2 days sometimes when it's American here. And it's just like I'm okay with buying Vietnamese stuff. I'm all good. I'm good for buying Chinese stuff, Korean, Russian, whatever they make. I'm okay with that. But you have to allow us to make money as well, and that's where I draw the line. I can't be in business with you when you're getting rich and I'm going broke. I'm going bankrupt. You know what I mean? So that's where I stand when it comes to trading in the market and working with the global. It's we got to look out for each other. And for us right now, I'm looking at this. If the United States is always first, the whole world is taken care of. It's weird how this sounds. It might sound cocky to people. We're just too arrogant and we just blah, blah, blah. It's the truth, man. What country goes all over the world to help other people in need? Let me remind people, I think we're at over 200 countries now. The United States of America gives money to over 195 countries that I know for sure, and they don't respect that. They don't value us. And it's not like I want to play the victim. Oh, poor USA. No. We are big and we are strong. We got the strongest military on earth, right? But we don't use it. Why? Because we don't want war, but we use it when we need to. And I think Iran right now, unfortunately, is on the hot seat. Thank you so much for your call, man. I appreciate you.
Got one last comment.
Go ahead.
I just
Sneak it in.
Because I want to make sure you're aware of this. Because you probably are. The biggest problem I have with the Iran situation right now is the fact that our manufacturing hasn't gotten back to where it needs to yet.
Yep.
And the biggest concern is we've drained our military. Right, we have things right now, but we've drained our military of tomahawks, we've drained our military of the missiles, we've drained our military of all the munitions that you need to have a prolonged war. We can't do a prolonged war, and it's not even about that. If China were to sense any kind of weakness or anything like that, that's the only thing that would come. But I don't think anybody's going to ever come of it. It's one of those things that kind of has me like in the back of my mind.
Yeah, well, that's a legit fear, but I'm telling you this. I don't believe that we're running out of missiles. I think we're using the leftovers that we haven't used for decades. And plus, remember this. Our military is not just the tomahawks. It's not just those missiles. We have a huge Navy and a huge Air Force. And, we are using all of this because we want to avoid troops on the ground. But even on the ground, we are still very powerful. We're just looking out not to have any casualties, which unfortunately in war, there's always going to be casualties. And this is why it is important that we appreciate our soldiers. Even if it's these young guys that haven't learned to wipe their ass yet, 18-year-olds that go out there and serve, regardless of how young and immature they are, man, their lives are still precious. They're still sacrificed. Whether they do it for money, for the looks, for whatever they do it for, it is a sacrifice that benefits us Americans. And they sacrifice time from their families, from doing what they want to do, and some of them do it because they want to be better people. And I give all of my love and respect to those people that serve in the military, especially because I don't, and I got to bless them. They are up here in my list. There should always be a budget for them. There should be no veterans on the street, not one veteran homeless on the street. I don't care what the problem is. If it's drugs, then we can work with them. They should be able to get some treatment. I don't know. There's a lot of things that I'm going to campaign for here in the next couple of months, but we'll save it for the next one. Thank you for your comment. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
You're fantastic.
Thank you so much.
Be blessed.
You too.
Take care. All right, let me go ahead and play because I do have Cutting Edge as the stream boss of the night. And, he's got to be recognized, and so we're going to give him some. I'm going to remove the calling numbers so that you guys can enjoy our POTUS dancing for Nah, don't block your number. I don't accept block calls. But right now, we're going to say thank you to Cutting Edge for your super chats.
Is he here, kid?
I'm over here talking to you still. Got a little bit of POTUS dancing for you guys. And I have a caller from Texas. Tell us your name.
What is going on, everybody? I am Edward from San Antonio, Texas, my brother.
Edward from Texas, another patriot. What do you think we should do with these 18-year-old soldiers out there?
Man, we need to hook them up with alcohol if they choose to. If you're willing to fight for our country, dude, you deserve a cold beer any day of the week, bro. I have no objections to that. As long as you're not drinking and driving or getting drunk in public, man, if you want a beer or a shot, dude, I'll buy the first round.
Hey, if you're 18, don't be drinking until you're 21. Don't listen to this crazy Texan guy. You can only get away with that if you are at war in the battlefield. All right, and then what's your other comment?
Everybody, dude. Free Whataburger for everybody, man.
Yeah, let's go, baby. What was your question? You had a question in there, I think, or a comment?
Man, no, just enjoying the show, man. Enjoying myself, and just saying, hey, man. Instead of everyone being divided, if we started getting united,
there you go.
Man, we'd all win, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, come on, man. Preaching to the choir. Let's go.
Let's do it.
100%.
I don't see it like that, man.
Yes, sir.
But I'm enjoying the show. I'm going to kick back. I'm going to listen to y'all, man. Good luck to y'all. And everyone that's listening, enjoy the rest of y'all's weekend. All right, guys? We love y'all. Peace.
Thank you, Edward.
Later.
What he said actually is fantastic. I think that if we imagine all that we're getting done right now with every single Democrat practically against us. Imagine all the things that we're getting done right now. How much more can we do if all of Congress, including Democrats, because Democrats are Americans, we need you. We need all Democrats. We need all Republicans. We need everybody, right? I would like to think that we are more American than that. And so, I mean, kudos for that comment. That thing, the comments was right on point. I like that. All right, let's go ahead and take our next calling here, and let's see who is the lucky caller. Hey, thanks for calling. Who we're talking to?
Anthony.
Anthony, how you doing, brother?
Oh, I'm blessed.
Blessed. That's what I like to hear. What's your comment today? You got 5 minutes?
I have 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, you got 5 minutes. Stop being greedy.
I have 5 minutes.
All right, go ahead. What you want to say to us?
I'll tell you straight out. You just insulted our U.S. military by stating that these young individuals want to just look good in uniforms.
Yeah, some of them do.
You also made other statements,
Yeah.
okay, that are insulting to our military. You are not an American citizen, and you will never be one.
Okay.
I will tell you straight out. And you're a chicken shit because you never fucking answer calls when you know that at the end of the day, you're a piece of crap. You're a piece of crap.
Interesting. You're on the phone right now. What's the problem?
You're just desperate to kiss ass and brown nose so you don't get deported.
Oh, is that right?
Are you reporting your online panhandling income to the IRS? Would you be willing to disclose your IRS records to make sure that everybody knows that you're disclosing your IRS panhandling? Would you be willing to do that?
How about if you call me if you
military, my father was a World War II veteran, pendejo. Okay? World War II veteran.
And what were you? What were you?
What was I?
Yeah.
Former board member of the American Civil Liberties Union.
That doesn't mean shit.
I handled civil rights cases.
Yeah, that doesn't mean shit. You're the same as I am then. You're the same as I am. Hey, do me a favor. Call me back when you're not drunk anymore. Thank you. He's over here insulting me, guys. I give him a chance to talk. I don't mind if he wants to insult me. Today I got thick skin. But if you're drunk, guys, come on. Don't call drunk. You're just gonna make an ass out of yourself. You know, if I don't answer the phone, it's because I don't want to argue with people. I want to have a conversation. So Dosito wanted me to come on live, and I love talking with you guys. But I opened up the lines, and I even took the time to make this little sign right there to call me. I even said, let's have a conversation. This is the time that I'm trying to do something for you guys. You know what I'm saying? So I don't understand why he wasted all that time insulting me. Omar, give me a second, buddy. Give me a second. You know, he wasted all this time insulting me instead of actually having a conversation. The guy is Hispanic, obviously. You know, he said that in Spanish. I would have hoped that he would have actually had a conversation with me. Now, let me tell you why I tell you that some guys join the military so they can look good in uniform. Because they have told me. Some people join because the money. They have told me. If you ask people why they joined the military, this is the answers that they give. Now, the part that he didn't hear was that regardless of what the reason was that they joined the military, we need to appreciate them, and we need to bless them, and we need to acknowledge that they are still making the sacrifice for us in this country. Whether people like to accept that or not, it is irrelevant. The facts are the facts, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it, and I'm not going to tell you that veterans are perfect. You know what I'm saying? All right, Omar, how are you, little brother?
I'm good. How are you,
Dad? What's popping? I haven't talked to you for a while. What's going on?
Yeah, it's good. I just wanted to say, I really love what you're saying, and you are a real patriot at what you're doing.
Thank you.
In Washington, and I know so you get a lot of calls. You get a lot of love still, as Trump supporters and being open about supporting Trump.
Yeah.
I am but I just if what you said about earlier kind of was okay about tariffs and products that are not American. You buy American products, but I always try to buy American products.
Yeah.
I always try to find something, but sometimes what do you think about when it's if you're buying other products from other countries, that's not supporting America though.
They're supporting trade.
Right, but the trade is from other countries and their products being in our country. We want to solely depend on our own products. How can we depend on our own products if they're not, or we can't depend on American-made products being from here? How can we depend on that when we've tried to do that and where we weren't able to sustain that? What do you think?
Yeah, that's a fair question. I think the difference is that we don't have it yet. But once we have it here, that's the reason why I support tariffs. Yeah, I wanna be able to buy it from here, but they don't make everything that we need here in America.
Right. We have to
So
pay things from it's the importers, right?
yeah,
They have to pay more money, right?
yeah. Here, let me. Oh shoot, it's in my car. Okay, look. So you already know. I'm not gonna show the whole thing, right? But I have this gun, right? Okay, I have this gun, and I was looking online for a holster. Okay, and there was a lot of holsters that they have on there, but the holster that I bought, the store was actually very proud to say this is an American made in America product. I bought the belt, the holster, I bought the extra clips, the mags, all that stuff, because they were so proud to be American. The reason why I have my Trump's red hat, the white hat, the black hat, is because they're American made, like the one that I sent you, right? That's American made.
American made.
Yeah, so
it's like better quality.
exactly, but
quality.
yeah, it actually is better quality when it's made here. But if you're like the way that I buy things sometimes, I mean, I don't even know if this is American made, but this is Beats. I don't know if it's American.
They'll say made in USA. If it says from other stuff sourced from other stuff, that's not fully 100% American. So maybe we need to redefine what that looks like in America.
Yeah,
I support tariffs 100%. We can care about other countries, dude.
Yeah.
We should not use your stuff. But like,
Yeah, and the thing with tariffs is they're not permanent. We can take them off once everything is fair and we're doing good.
we buy our own stuff. We support our own country. Like this is our, it's like if you were in Honduras, you'd buy like, wouldn't you want to buy?
Well, here's a thing. You mentioned Honduras. Honduras is like it's like a 15%, like 0 to 15. Okay, it's not 15, 0 to 15% tariff price. There was a company that I used. Now DHL normally is the one that delivers, right, internationally, and so DHL, the people at the store that had, it's like a like one of the stores, right, where they're allowed to have UPS or FedEx, but that's not a UPS FedEx store. It's something else. So these people, they grabbed the camera that I sent to my little nephew down there, right? It's like a $65. I think I mentioned this before. I paid $65 plus the taxes and the shipping, okay? The shipping says that the tariff was already in the price, okay? So I already paid the tariffs that they're supposed to pay over there. Well, these guys were price gouging, and they think that we're stupid. So my nephew calls me, and they say, hey, they're charging me $65. And I say, wait, what? I said, no, I pay the shipping, I pay the tariffs, I pay for the product is 65. Yeah. So the country in Honduras is not suffering because of the tariffs that we put on them. It's because there's people that are out there that are shady and, they're taking advantage of their people. And so they ended up saying, okay, sorry about that. There's a 10% tariff, and they charge that 10% anyway. But still, it's one of those things
to where the importer has to pay it, though.
That is correct. That is correct. And I paid it as exporting so that they don't have to pay it.
Right. I'm not paying for a tariff from a country that President Donald Trump put on because I'm not buying that product anymore. Isn't that?
Yeah. I mean, like if I buy from China and I'm paying $30 for something.
I mean, something you're gonna have to get. I get that, but I always. So when you said that, I was like, well, I always try to be American because America first,
I don't like to isolate myself to just American only because right now we still have to depend on international stuff.
I don't know about that.
Well, once we get caught up, we'll be good. Once we get these manufacturers back. Remember, President Donald Trump doesn't want to build manufactories for clothing. That's cheap. We can get that from Honduras. We can get that from other countries. So I'm down for that. If I do become governor here in Washington, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to fly down to Honduras. I'm going to go talk to the president. I want to go talk to them and be like, hey, listen, I want to be able to make a deal with you, and I can't wait to have that power. I want to make a deal with you. You can sell us all the clothing items, so you can have your manufacturers here. We call them maquilas. You can have your manufacturers here, and you can make all of our clothing, underwear, socks. You will be, exemplary for us. And in exchange, we can go ahead and give you our business. You see, the way that I look at it is like this. I have the money, and I want to buy your product, okay? I have the money. I will give you the money, but I want your product. So it's like they are not making deals with me. I have to make the deal and say, hey, this is what I got. Do you want it? Yes or no? No? Okay, then you're on your own. They're not going to tell me, do you want it? Yes or no? They can't say that because I'm the one with the money. And so I think that's the way I see it when it comes to China, when we come to negotiating tariffs around the world.
Oh, yeah, like other countries.
Yeah,
like
we got their money. They want our money, don't they? They want our dollar. Well, give me a deal.
Money now because President Trump is bringing in more money to the country by producing more oil.
Yep.
Producing, emphasizing peace in the Middle East. Like, the whole thing with Iran, it's like, it's against us. Like, it's totally against us and their freedom and the people of Iran.
Yeah.
And the whole Board of Peace. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's the foreign leaders all coming together. So I understand how America is this footprint, like this is the step into the right direction, being involved in everything.
Yeah.
But America first. Like, we have to look after each other. Like, we have our governor. We have to hold our governors like responsible for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're going to do a great job doing that.
100%.
Thank you very much for taking my call.
Thanks, little brother.
I love you.
I love you too.
God bless you. God bless President Trump.
Yes, sir.
And have a good rest of your night.
All right, take it easy. Thanks for the call.
Thanks. Bye.
And let's see. Gus says, haha, you, governor of what? Wait, let me read the comment. I like this comment. Hold on. He said, bro, you are too stupid to understand. Why would you buy from them when you can make the manufacturing here? There is a delay from the live feed, so I get it. Yes, Raj babe, we all love our little brother Amar. There's a delay on the chat there, so I will give you the benefit of doubt because I explained why. Okay, there are some things that we want to manufacture here that are worth manufacturing here, but I want things like, you have to understand this. If you're on the left side, okay, I want you to try to use your common sense on this. Some of you out there, or some people out there, they are afraid of AI. I hate AI, especially with video, cinematography AI. I think AI is good for a lot of other things, just like calculators, right? They're able to do the math for us. Computers, they're able to do all this stuff for us. I'm okay with things like that. Technology, keep moving up and moving up. This whole new offensive missiles that we have, defensive missiles that we have, etc. I'm all up for that. I'm for all of that. But there's always a little bit of fear if somebody hacks, if something goes wrong with the technology. Those are always things that we have to be aware of, that, malfunction can happen. Let's see. So go ahead, Zazgar. Why don't you go ahead and give me a call? There's a phone number right there. You can call and enlighten me with your great wisdom. These libtards, they just don't want to have a conversation. They just want to insult people. Oh, they're not going to like me. They're not going to like me as governor. We're going to fix Washington State for sure. For sure. The guys that come in here judging me, they don't even know me. Antonio, go ahead and give me a call. Tell me what I have to wake up for. Let's see. Yeah, Antonio, go ahead and call. The phone number's there. You can't miss it. Nobody can tell me that they can't find this number that I'm putting down. Jason, did you call already, Jason? You need to run for governor of North Carolina. Hey, who deleted your comment? That's nothing wrong with Jason's comment. Somebody was trying to call, I think. Common sense without asking Jesus will be fooled. You got to separate religion from separate government from church. Please, separate that, will you? Saudi Arabia is going to flatten Iran. Iran is finished. You know what? They asked for it, brother. They asked for it. We try to help people out, but sometimes they just don't listen. They don't want peace. They don't want peace. Nah, you're just a troll who can't hold down a real job. Intention 361. There is a phone number. This is why I said let's have a conversation. I want you to go ahead and tell me, Medfast, are you a libtard? Possum, you might be right. You might be right about that. You might be right. I might not be able to fix Washington State, but at least a statement has to be made that there is people trying to change for the best and they don't want it. So there's that. They can, sort of dig their own grave, so to speak. And then if I lose, right, because if God wants me to win, I'm going to win. But if I lose, at least I can say, hey, guys, remember I promised that I would run? I did. I did my best. You will see my campaign. You will see me argument. You will see me debating. And if I am not good enough, then I'm not good enough. It is what it is, but I will give it my best shot. Now, one thing that I don't do with like Democrats, it's never try, never fail mentality. Well, I think that by trying and failing is how we learn new things. All right, that's it. Cutting Edge, thank you, brother. Appreciate your love and support. The point is that AI has to be decentralized because if it's centralized, the government would do the same thing as China. Mass surveillance, literally one of their programs is called Skynet, like the Terminator. I'm not against that. I'm not against the spying on the street and watching everybody. I'm not against that. I'm okay. As a matter of fact, they just did this. When I came back from from Honduras, right? I came through. I came from. Hold on, Dosito. I came from Honduras, and Miami is an international airport. I'm coming in, got my passport. Everything is good to go, ready to go. And then as you come into the line where normally they would check your passport, now they have this digital camera and then they got your passport. It's already on there in their system. So, I think that if the system doesn't recognize American citizens when they come in or residents, they will eventually have to ask them for the passport. But I like the fact that they can see me and they can tell that I am an American citizen, even though I look like every other Hispanic that comes from Honduras, probably. But, I think that AI is great. If it makes things easier for us, of course. Let me tell you what I don't have fear of it. And there's only one thing that I don't want, okay? The only thing I don't want is religious persecution. Because that's going to suck, right? I'm going to have to defend myself, bada bing, bada boom. Things will not be pretty. But I like the fact that they know who we are. They know who their citizens are. And so if you've been through the airport and you have scanned your passport and you put your, whatever, they know you. And if somebody wants to put a fake passport on there, they'll be able to tell because they will not be in the system. Then again, if it gets hacked, they can put a lot of names on there as well. And, well, you know what I mean? It's a 50-50 chance, but we'll see what happens. All right, let's see. What do we got here? Hollywood wants Terminator, says Antonio. Yeah, but hey, listen, Antonio. Remember back in the day, who's a Star Trek fan in here? Do we have any Star Trek fans in here? All right. Live long and prosper. I love Star Trek. Listen, I'm not a crazy loony fan of Star Trek. Hey, Graham, how are you? I don't like it strange. I'm assuming the AI thing, the whole spying thing. Star Trek, you remember that? Beam me up, Scotty, right? They had that little flip phone, and then we can, boom, get back in the ship. And so we have cell phones now. Not only do we have cell phones, but this cell phone can do everything, sometimes better things, if I know how to use it, than my whole desktop setup, my laptop, etc. I have a portable computer that does 200 megapixel photos, does 50 times zoom. Yeah, it degrades the picture, but still, and the technology is here. It started with a little flip. Beat me up, Scotty. Right? I will tell you this. If you haven't watched Star Trek, okay, I do like Star Wars, but Star Trek in general, when I watch, again, I am not a nerd fan of Star Trek, okay? I would dress up if I had the outfit. Yes, of course, okay? I will do it. But I love Star Trek so much that I know the relationship between Spock and Captain Kirk. And just watching it for decades. I mean, the show was aired, it was a hit, and then it was dropped, and then it was brought back, and it was a hit again, and it was lost, and it was brought back. And so they made a movie, Star Trek, right? With new characters. And I'm going to tell you, if you're not a fan of Spock and Captain Kirk, you will not have felt what I have felt. But I will tell you what. Blav, shut up. Your flag is Croatian. Be nice. Let them with the flag, at least in here. At least they don't do it in our country outside. But you know what? There was a part, because they hate each other, right? They're rivals. They're fighting and this and that. And, when Spock comes in from the past, right? Or from the future. He comes from the future, and then he meets with Captain Kirk. And then he's just like the original Spock character. And then the way he talks to him. And then now when Captain Kirk sees Spock, even though Spock doesn't know that Captain Kirk already knows, him in the future, to me it was just so awesome. It's just like, bro, this is the best Star Trek movie ever. And I'm just like, I was stoked about it. And I was just like, I don't know if I was the only guy that I was have a little tear in my eye, but I can tell you that everybody was clapping. So there must have been a lot of Star Trek fannies in there, and I thought it was amazing. Anyways, that's a side conversation. I want to say thank you guys for subscribing. We're about to hit that. We're at what, 2.5, almost 18,000. I know I should have been at 30,000 already, but I slacked off last month. Long vacation in Honduras. And I haven't been hitting this as I started at first, because I have to do other things to get ready for what's happening in May. So thank you guys for doing that. Thank you, Baba. Appreciate you always. All right. Anybody else that wants to call in, there is the phone number. Graham, you want to call in? Give me some insights. I want to hear what you have to say. And this is for everybody. I want to hear what you have to say about what's going on in Iran. If you want to call in, there's a phone number right there on your screen. And if you haven't done so yet, double tap that screen if you're on the phone, or just click that like button and subscribe if you haven't done so yet. All right, we'll just go ahead and wait for the next caller to call in and give me some insights of what's going on with this war. Woo! It's getting hot in here. It's getting hot in here. I'm gonna take my clothes off. No, don't worry. That's just a song. I'm not doing that. Don't worry, guys. I won't blind you. Let's see. Dosito says, Dennis, have you noticed Crown Prince yapping, crying for Trump's involvement? Now he's quiet and disappeared. Honestly, he is the Crown Prince, but. So here's the thing. He's the Crown Prince, which, if it's an anarchy, he would be the next leader. But I believe that they're working on a democracy. So I don't think that he will be the leader. I don't think that he has the character or the courage to lead his people into victory and nonetheless run the country. Hey, thank you for calling. Who we're talking to?
James.
James, how are you doing, James?
Good, you?
Good. Thanks for calling. What input do you have? You got 5 minutes. Tell me something about what's going on in Iran right now. How do you feel about that?
I was just coming on here. I was going to see, what do you think is going to happen in Iran again, like, soon? Or, like, what do you think, like, we should start worrying about the United States?
Well, I think that we have our military here for home. I think that every governor and senator should be working with President Donald Trump to secure our national security. But it is very unfortunate that they believe that open borders was a great idea, and they are so bent over backwards on, defending criminals, especially illegal immigrants in this country. It's very uncertain, to be honest. I am more certain that what we're doing in Iran is the right thing to do. But I do worry a little bit about our national security simply because we have too many Democrats that don't care about us, American people.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. I was just wondering.
Yeah. Hey, listen, never be afraid or be fear. Never fear or think that you have to apologize for being an American citizen. Be proud of it, my man. Be proud of it. And defend this country with everything you got. If people can serve in the military, you can always support the ones that can serve and continue to fight for putting America first. Remember, American first is not just President Donald Trump's responsibility. It is our local government, governors and mayors. They're supposed to put us, American citizens, first. And that will help President Donald Trump concentrate on the international things that will put America first. Thank you for calling. I appreciate you.
Of course.
Take care. All right. And we have another caller that was coming in there. You can go ahead and call. Lone Wolf in the house, I think. I saw that in there. The moon is a dead star. Maybe. It's true in Star Wars. Stars are fallen angels in a manner. It's symbolical. It's not literally. It is symbolical. We are not in the caveman times. We know what the stars are. Burning 47, blessed be the name of Trump and Dennis. I appreciate that. You know what? To God be all the glory. But thank you for blessing us. I appreciate it. Texas James said he came here legally, so gets to stay. Only the smarties vote for Joe Biden? Lone Wolf is still curious about it. All right, Cameron says, someone get the border peace together and tell the orange idiot he is never getting a peace prize. You know what? He doesn't really need the Nobel Peace Prize because we already know he's the greatest president in our U.S. history. All right, we got some breaking news here. We'll take a break from calls, and let's take a listen and see what's going on because I haven't watched this yet.
This hour with Fox News alert on Americans in the battlefield. U.S. Central Command confirms that 3 American service members have died in action, and 5 others are seriously wounded as part of Operation Epic Fury. We do not know where those casualties occurred. However, we do know that U.S. bases in Iraq have come under attack by Islamic militia now. Those militia that are aligned with Iran. Those are the ones that they fund and purpose at their will, that regime. The president launched the major offensive against Iran's terrorist regime early yesterday morning. Israel today continues to go after strategic sites deep inside Iran, dubbing its military offensive Operation Roaring Lion. This is a special Sunday edition of the Faulkner Focus. I'm Harris Faulkner. Those are U.S. missiles launched in the opening phase of the operation. Israeli officials confirm strikes have killed more than 40 senior Iranian commanders since the operations began, which includes the top Revolutionary Guard leadership and Iran's defense minister. A huge development now, coming together in just the last bit. Iranian state media confirming Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei was killed. Now, we knew that yesterday. Fox confirmed. The president talked about it. And now wide media. And Fox can also confirm that the CIA provided Israel with the intelligence to conduct that strike on Khamenei's compound. President Trump is calling it justice for the people of Iran. And speaking to one outlet this morning, the president said the nation's potential new leadership, quote, want to talk. And I have agreed to talk. So I will be talking to them. They should have done it sooner. They should have given what was very practical and easy to do sooner. They waited too long. End of quote from President Trump. Iran's exiled crown prince shared his thoughts on the future of his country.
There's no question that this is the game changer we've been waiting for all this time. This is like full decapitation of the regime, and ultimately what will expedite its total collapse. The Iranian people has suffered too much to settle for anything less than that.
Well, while Iran's leadership is calling for revenge, citizens are in the streets, really all over the world, wherever they live, including the United States. You're taking a look now. This is Berlin, Germany. Streets are cheering the killings of the top regime officials who have been oppressors of the people for decades. The regime projecting strength while citizens have toiled under miserable economic conditions and political and social.
Yeah, I saw somebody in there with a picture of the Crown Prince. This is the video that Dosito was probably talking to me about.
Repression and death. You know about all those protesters just in the last few weeks. An estimated 30,000 people targeted by their own government. That government now, big pieces of it are gone. We have Fox team coverage. Lieutenant Colonel Darren Gobb is coming up in focus. And Trey Yingst is on the ground in Tel Aviv, where air defenses continue to intercept Iranian missiles. Let's begin with Chief National Security Correspondent Jennifer Griffin in Washington. Jennifer.
Harris, as you mentioned, CENTCOM has confirmed that 3 American service members were killed and 5 were seriously wounded in a missile strike. We're told other Americans sustained shrapnel injuries and suffered concussions. These are the first casualties of the war the U.S. and Israel have launched against Iran. CENTCOM would not say which U.S. base the missile strike targeted, while family notifications continue. We also can now report that 4 B-2 bombers flew from their home base of Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri on a round trip to Iran and are now safely home. A senior U.S. defense official told me they dropped dozens of 2,000-pound penetrator bombs on Iranian ballistic missile sites that are hidden underground. The Iranians have mobile missile launchers that can be rolled out of caves and then pushed back into a protective bunker. They may have fewer of those launchers today, however. The Iranian strategy seems to be to escalate to de-escalate. The Iranians have fired 135 missiles and 209 drones at UAE, 66 missiles at Qatar, and 45 at Bahrain, along with 9 drones. Hotels and civilian apartment buildings are being hit by Iranian missiles and drones in neighboring Gulf states. Missiles have been fired at a U.S. military base in Erbil, likely by Shia militias in Iraq, who have long been funded by Iran. A mob tried to storm the U.S. embassy in Baghdad, and Pakistani security forces used batons and live fire to push back an angry crowd threatening the U.S. consulate in Karachi, Pakistan. Both Iraq and Pakistan have large Shia Muslim populations. And British Defense Secretary John Healey said 2 missiles had been fired toward Cyprus, where the British Army has service members stationed. It's the first time Cyprus has ever been targeted by Iranian ballistic missiles, likely fired from Tabriz in western Iran. There are reports that the Iranians have reached out to Oman, saying they are willing to talk. President Trump, as you just mentioned, just told The Atlantic that the Iranians have reached out and want to talk, and he is willing to talk to them. Israel's defense minister announced that Israel is now using stand-in weapons over Tehran and will now have 24/7 presence in the skies above Tehran. That means that they and the U.S. military have effectively suppressed the air defense systems over Tehran, a huge step forward in terms of being able to track the movements of Iranian leaders and forces. We reported yesterday that the start of the joint operation had to be moved up based on intelligence and this target of opportunity, the meeting at Khamenei's compound. Fox has now confirmed the intelligence for that strike came from the CIA, who passed it to the Israelis. The New York Times was the first to report this. The man to watch is Ali Larijani, the head of Iran's Supreme National Security Council. He has moved into the top position in Iran. He just gave an interview in which he threatened revenge for the killing of the supreme leader, Ali Khamenei. Quote, "The United States and the Zionists have burned the heart of the Iranian people, and we will burn their hearts." Now it seems both sides want to talk. Not clear if that means there will be regime change in the end, if there is a new supreme leader and Ali Larijani keeps the reins of power. He was one of the main members of the Iranian leadership, Harris, ordering the vicious killing of thousands of Iranian protesters just weeks ago. Harris.
Jennifer, thank you very much for getting us started. The conflict is having major impacts across the Middle East. You'll hear more and more about that during the Faulkner Focus today. Iran has launched waves of missiles and drones into Israel and the United States military bases and some civilian areas in the region. And we were told to expect some of that. What is an oddity, though, is that they are hitting Qatar, Kuwait, and the United Arab Emirates hard. Nations with at least relationships with Iran, if not some actual supporters in some cases. U.S. Navy's 5th Fleet headquarters in Bahrain was hit by an Iranian strike. And President Trump is warning what is left of Iran's leadership to stop this, stop the retaliation. Here's what he posted. Iran just stated that they are going to hit very hard today, harder than they have ever hit before. They better not do that. However, because if they do, we will hit them with a force that has never been seen before! Exclamation point from the commander-in-chief.
Let me interrupt this video because I have this video here. I want to know what this is, honestly.
I have some breaking news.
So let me read this description here for you guys. It says Fox News obtains a photo of the alleged Austin mass shooter identified as a 53-year-old naturalized U.S. citizen from Senegal wearing a Property of Allah shirt. Sources indicate possible terrorism links prompting an FBI investigation. Okay, let's take a listen to that. It's not too long.
I want to bring this in now. I've been telling everybody about the Austin mass shooter, and now we have a picture. And this is what we're finding out. Per multiple federal law enforcement sources to our own Bill Maloogian, the Austin mass shooter is a 53-year-old naturalized U.S. citizen who was born in Senegal and was living in Pflugerville, Texas. Material recovered from his person and inside the vehicle give possible indications of a nexus to terrorism, as the FBI announced earlier today. And remember what we said he had in his possession and was also wearing. The shooter was wearing clothing that said Allah on it. His sweater said Property of Allah. And there's also known to be an undershirt with an Iranian flag and other materials inside. And remember what Representative Michael McCall of Texas just told me last hour. He said, Harris, in my own backyard, just last night, we had an event that possibly could have been terror-inspired right here in Austin, Texas. This is what he was talking about. Brett, I was reminding Americans this is not a new place for us to be in terms of keeping our heads on a swivel. But it bears repeating, we've lost Americans in the fight on the battlefield, and protecting the homeland now is also something that we must be on the alert. Now, authorities have not tied this Austin situation to what's happening in the Middle East as terror related to that, but they are investigating it just moments ago, confirming as a possible terror attack. Your reaction?
Well, we have to remain vigilant. I mean, Khamenei, he was a religious figure. We don't know if this attack was associated, but it very well may be. But the fact is, this isn't a representation of how most people from that region feel. The Iranian people, they fear their own rulers more than our own military. They hate, their own oppressive rulers than anyone else. And we may see more attacks like this. We have to be vigilant. There are proxy groups everywhere that are looking for ways to harm Americans and hurt Americans. And but the fact of the matter is, overall, there are images right now showing most Iranians and most Shias celebrating today, not because of war, but because they hate their own rulers more than anyone else. That's a sign that we're striking, not just at their military, we're striking at the legitimacy of a brutal regime. The Iranian people want better relationships with the West. They have the potential to be our biggest ally. I think it's important we collectively separate the terrorist regime from that of the majority Iranian people. These people have spent decades, trying to hurt us. And so the fact is, again, we just need to remain vigilant in the wake of these strikes.
Look, I don't want to make too much out of this because the FBI and federal authorities have to do their jobs and tell us what the facts are with this particular case. But you are looking at on your screen right now the man that they suspect to be the Austin, Texas shooter. And he is 53 years old. And I don't know if you had seen this as well. There were all sorts of descriptions about age, but now we know some specificity. He's 53-year-old American citizen, naturalized originally from Senegal. He is wearing a sweater, and you can see here a sweater that says Property of Allah with an undershirt in the Iranian flag. I want to ask you about this. We had a tremendous amount of people come across the border, and I can't ignore this, because this is just fact, Brett. there are a lot of people in this country, we don't know if they're being radicalized. Maybe some came in and they participated in that or led the way or have become something different while they're here. But it matters letting millions of people come in and you have no way to vet them. And that's what happened under the Biden administration. We're catching up, but a lot of those people are still here. Your thoughts?
Well, with that, as well as what's going on overseas, there's been a seismic shift in global security, right? That regime over there in Iran is, fragile. After decades of corruption, that border for years was a perfect place for the Iranian regime to send some of their proxy groups undetected. I don't know if you remember years ago, we almost had an attack in D.C. where Iranians were sent in to try and kill the Saudi ambassador at the time. There are humans out there that want to hurt us. And right now there is a complete structural shock to the Iranian regime and their way of life. Their internal system is highly centralized around this supreme leader, and that religious leader is gone. I think that was one of the reasons that President Trump initially had maybe held off the Israelis striking Khamenei, because he was such a religious figure. But that's changed now. We've removed that node, and it's created this uncertainty inside the clerical establishment across the proxy networks globally, and we need to just pay attention for more attacks like this.
Brett Velikovich, thank you for your response on those Americans who've been killed and those who have been badly injured. Thank you very much.
That's crazy. Good pointing out that, man. They still made it an American citizen. I think that this past administrations have been so soft on crime. They're so naive. They think that every criminal has this sad story that's going to make them change their mind. Listen, once you give somebody so many chances, and I hate to be the one to talk about the Muslim religion, but the people don't understand. A lot of people think that the reason why people are religious, they need to find a meaning to life. People want to know that there is a purpose to life, so they research spirituality. But they go and research man-made spirituality, stories, and all this stuff. And I'm going to tell you, and anybody can think and choose whatever they want, but there is only one true God, and that is the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He is the creator of the universe and everything in it. Christianity is a religion that was based upon history and the Torah from the Israel and the Jewish people and the Hebrews. And then Christianity is a testament of the life of Jesus Christ and the explanation of how much God loved us, that he sent his only begotten son to come and die for us, who we didn't deserve to get that mercy and that grace. And so that is the God that I serve. Again, you can judge my mouth and I can say these bad words and stuff, but you know what? That has nothing to do with my soul. It is a thing that maybe I should work on, but it's nothing that is going to take my salvation away, because my heart is for the people. And whether people think that I just want to be governor for the title, trust me, it's not even that. This commitment that I made that I'm going to put my name on there, number one, it's not free. It's $2,200 that I have to pay just to put my name on that ballot. And that doesn't mean that I'm going to be the governor by paying that fee. That just means that I can campaign and officially be in the books. And that's it. So if you're willing to go and put $2,200 for nothing, go ahead and do that. But I feel that is my way of showing love for the people that I share this wonderful state of Washington with. And hopefully God would put the words in my mouth. I am very hopeful. I am believing. I'm more than hopeful. I am believing that God is going to put the right words in my mouth when the time comes. And you know what? I have had all these moments when I used to preach that I wouldn't even know where those words come from. But I just know that God is in control, and that's what we're going to push forward. Now, we got some information here from an hour ago. Let's see. This was put an hour ago, but it was from Sunday morning. This morning, let me see. Actually, let me go to Jesse Waters. Let me hear what the hero of the Democrats says.
This week we went down to D.C. for the State of the Union, and we left Johnny there to back cleanup.
How you doing?
Doing fine.
Nice to see you. Johnny from Fox.
Johnny, your hands are cold. You need to get some gloves.
I'm freezing. How was that speech last night?
It was long. It was a lot of theater.
It was a long speech.
It was long. Did you enjoy it?
No.
You weren't a big fan of that speech last night.
No.
You didn't stand for much.
No. We're also not there to perform.
It was a great speech, full of enthusiasm for the country.
The economy is improving. Our standing in the world is improving. Our border is secure.
The president asked Democrats to stand up if they prioritize American citizens over illegal aliens. Did you stand?
I didn't stand. It was a gotcha question.
And he got you.
And he got
No,
you.
I didn't get me. No,
because of the way.
And he got you. That is funny. I can't believe that he said that. That is good. Good job.
The way he was framing it, the gimmick was a little cheap.
You didn't want to show the American people that you'd stand?
I show the American people where I stand.
With the
every
legals.
day.
What is your first responsibility, protecting American citizens or illegal aliens?
I'm just getting ready for hearing. Thank you.
What is your first priority, illegal immigrants or American citizens?
Why is it hard? It's an honest question. Why is it hard for Democrats to say it? Okay, so they didn't stand. I got it. They didn't stand. They don't want to do the theatrics because Trump is saying it. I get that. But right here, this is a second chance. Why can they not say it? You know why? Because they know they're snakes. Because they know they have abandoned every single one of us American citizens. I'm going to tell you something. You cannot make this up. Here you are. Here is a chance for them to say, I didn't want to stand because Trump said it, but I do stand for Americans first before illegal immigrants. Why was it so hard for these guys to say that? You see what I'm saying? Like, how can they do that? Like, we're paying them. Our taxes pay their benefits.
You don't want to tell the American people that you prioritize them first?
What a shame for Hawaii.
Illegal aliens or American citizens?
We're not there to perform for this guy. It was a speech filled of a bunch of grievances.
Big moment last night. You ripped Al Green's sign. What happened?
I said, Al, you got to be better than this. What the hell are you bringing this sign on here? I mean, Al, you got kicked out of here last year. Now you're going to try to do a twofer.
Al's a really bad boy.
Well, I will just say this. He's in a contested primary, so he's probably doing everything he can to try to get his mug on television.
Congressman.
How are you?
You were a bad boy last night.
Well, I was bad in the sense that I got into good trouble, the kind of trouble that John Lewis has called to our attention. The president has gone too far.
Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib, they were screaming, they were heckling the president. Was that the right thing to do?
Well, again, I just don't think we should ever do that. We should respect the office, regardless who's in that office.
The president says the Democrats are crazy.
They are. They're bat crazy.
They have a massive, out-of-control case of Trump derangement syndrome.
We'll find a cure.
You're right.
The president has a problem, and I have to expose his problem. So that's what last night was all about.
You're going to get censured again.
Well, John Lewis and I were incarcerated together for protesting. And one of the things that he reminded me of was that you got to be prepared to suffer the consequences. It was my colleagues that reached over to rip things out of my hand and said things to me. So I did not create the disturbance, they did. So if they're going to censure all of us, then I guess maybe.
People were not standing for lowering Social Security, no tax on tips.
That was again a game.
So this was all a game?
It was a gotcha game.
Since you were kicked out, you did miss an important part. The president said, please stand if you support United States citizens over illegal aliens. Would you have stood?
If I had been in the chamber, I would have made a decision at that time.
What's your priority, United States citizens or illegal aliens?
My priority is the American Constitution, which protects you aliens and people in this country.
So both.
My priority is the Constitution.
Not United States
My priority
citizens.
is the Constitution.
You looked great in that suit last night.
Well, thank you. Geez, you know, I am a fashion plate.
Will you attend the third State of the Union?
I'm going to attend as long as I believe I should. And when I think I shouldn't, I won't.
Do you know who I am?
No.
Here's Johnny.
Click here to subscribe.
That's funny. They don't know who he is, but they're hey, you know what? Freedom of the press. Kudos to them for answering the questions honestly. Dino, what the hell are we talking about here? World War II, direct U.S. involvement in 1941-45, location Europe, Pacific Ocean, Atlantic Ocean, Southeast, blah, 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 blah. We defend the innocent is what we do. And that's why we need to support and continue to support the United States of America as a powerhouse. We need all that money. We need our manufactories to come back, steel factories. All these factories need to come back to the States so that we can build more ships, so that we can build more. Well, actually, the Boeing is and other companies, I guess, is doing that job already. But we need to bring more of factories back into this country. Kevin McCarthy tells the Democrats, do your job. Let's take a listen.
The FBI putting its counterterrorism team on high alert amid tensions with Iran as Congress has been unable to find a resolution to the DHS funding fight, which includes crucial agencies like TSA, the Secret Service, and the Coast Guard. For more, let's turn to former Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy. Mr. Speaker, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, Jackie, for having me on.
Of course. We were just talking in the break about how important it is for these agencies to have funding when you have a heightened terrorism threat with what's happening in the Middle East.
All right, we'll give it a pause. Hold on, don't delete that comment. Don't delete that comment. Let me address this, Mr. Sean Kuhn. You build the factory, then do the tariff, you dummy. I find this very interesting. How old are you? No, I'm serious. How old are you? I really want to know, how old are you? Because if you're a little kid, I understand. Tell me, genius, who's going to build the factories? Are you going to build them? You think the government builds the factories here for people to have their private businesses to run them? Who do you think? Why would you build a factory here? Tell me that. See, this is what happens when people don't think their things through, and it happens to me too. It happens to me sometimes. But tell me, who's going to build it, and why would they build it? Here, I got a better answer for you. How and why would people want to work in this country when they get free food, free health care, free housing? Tell me, what is the benefit of working? What is the incentive that I have to work? You see how that works? I gotta have something. I gotta have an incentive to make you want to work. You think I'd rather be playing my game right now? Yeah, I'd rather be watching my movies right now. It's Sunday. But you know what? I'm out here entertaining you. This is work. Now, I know Dosito is the one that got me to come on live because he was begging me to come on live. And so, I appreciate my friendships. And I love it. But tell me, what is a serious question? It is a serious question. What incentive do I have to go to work? You don't know the answer if you're a libtard. Remember, if you are a libtard, if you're not a libtard, you can still answer with an answer. You can respond with an answer. The other thing is this. Why do we put tariffs on? Because nobody wants to build the factories here in the United States of America. They went to China because they can make more money by using, whatever regulations and rules they have over there. We have so much regulation here in our country that Democrats, not Democrats, I'm sorry, governors and senators, the legislature, we need to make sure that there's not so much regulation on businesses, because it makes the cost of doing business even higher, which makes the prices be even higher. There is a lot of regulations that are useless, like the one in California. Remember that? Some sort of frog, I think it was. There was some frog or some fish that they were trying to preserve, so they took the water away from the people, and all the houses burnt down and all this other stuff. Regulation. For what? Useless regulation. So if you would have asked the question nicely, I wouldn't have to be so, answering the same tone that you asked the question. I'd rather be nice. I'd rather be nice. I'd rather laugh than to get angry at you and get defensive. Okay? I'd rather be nice and laugh. I think it's a lot better for my soul. And so I try to put the Holy Spirit oil so that those things kind of rub off my shoulders, so I don't have to keep them in my heart. But nonetheless, it still is, it does affect you in one way or another. Now, with that being said, I want to remind you, if it's the first time that you are here with me, I want to say thank you so much for being here with me. Another reason why I am live today is because there's so many leftist podcasters out there hating on not just Trump, but on the people that voted for Trump to be in office. When the factories come back to us and we have all these factories built here and we're manufacturing things back here in America, then we can lower those tariffs if we need to. They're negotiable, But the one thing that the people on the other side of the aisle, as they say, they support Democrat politicians who keep wasting our money, destroying budgets, and they just spend it on money that is not for the people. Let me see if I have a picture here. I think I took a clip of Tulsi Gabbard, and she says, well, I'm assuming it's her. I got this from somebody. She says, taxation is theft when the taxes are used for things that do not serve our interest. Tulsi Gabbard. Supposedly, she said that. Do you agree with that? I agree with it. Taxation is theft when the taxes are not for things that do not serve our interest. So why tax us when it's not for our benefit? What's our benefit, you say? The roads, infrastructure, bridges, parks for our children, etc. That's what taxes should go for. Transit. This is why we pay taxes, to support the fire department, to support our police, law enforcement. These are things that tariffs should go for. Taxes should go for. Taxes should not go to shaving legs in jail. Taxes should not go for circumcision somewhere in Africa. Taxes shouldn't go for those things at all. Taxation without representation, right? No accountability. All right, I think I answered the question, right? Why build the manufacturers here, and how we're going to do that? Well, why? Because we need it. How? We had to put tariffs because there is no incentive for them to come back home. Their incentive is to stay over there in China and take advantage of the cheap labor. That is the incentive. So that's why they built there. But we got, whether people right now are still in denial, we got over $22 trillion for the next 6 to 10 years that will be coming back to the United States of America. We already saw $270 billion from tariffs coming back into our country. Why do I get excited? Because a lot of that money is going to our military. So we're not wasting our military force. We are replenishing as fast as we can, and we're not even using our full power. So, We're trying to get rid of things that we haven't used in a long time. That's how I see it. We've been itching to throw some missiles out there that just been collecting dust in the warehouse. Anyway, okay, let's take a listen.
And yet, Congress does not seem any closer to reaching a negotiation to fund the Department of Homeland Security. But the Democrats are very eager to have a vote on war powers. Politically, does that help them or hurt them?
I think it's a very stupid play by the Democratic leadership. Think for one moment, if there is a sleeper cell in America, it has come through we all know where, during the Biden administration. In 1 month of February, we caught more people on the terrorist watch list in 1 month under Biden than the entire 4 years under President Trump's first term. And here's the Democrats who first voted to fund DHS and then voted against the exact same bill where it's shut down. So a Coast Guard, it's not being funded. The Secret Service, the TSA. If there is some type of attack within America, it is going to be on the Democrats who faulted by not funding DHS during this critical time and allowing the border to be open during those 4 years and anybody coming in, even though all the reports on the terrorist watch list and those that are coming in to harm America. If I was a Democrat, I usually don't like to give them advice, but this is too critical for the security of America. Go back to Washington, fund DHS now. The president has the authority for the next 60 to 90 days to carry out the War Powers Act. And I don't think you're going to see us bombing in 60 to 90 days. Then you could bring it up. But right now, protect Americans in their homeland and do your job.
Do you think that Speaker Mike Johnson is doing enough to drive that message home?
Well, it's always great to have a lot of people help with messaging. The one thing I always like to do in the majority is make sure you use the majority. The Speaker has a lot of power, much different than in the Senate. You could determine what comes to the floor. Bring those bills up that are 80-20. Show where the Democrats. Use the example of what President Trump did in the State of the Union. He literally showed America, are you for the American citizen, or are you rather to defend the illegal alien? And they couldn't stand. He showed a mother whose a young daughter got murdered. They would not stand. These are the type of things you could do each and every day by their vote. That would change the outcome in this November election where they're posed to be right now.
Speaking of the November election, there always is the question of, what the president has campaigned on in the past and whether that comes up again. There is a faction of Republicans who are concerned about forever wars, and we've heard from the president all the justifications for this and seen successes with operations like the attacks on the nuclear facilities with B-2 bombers and also in Venezuela. But politically, do you worry at all that a better case needs to be made to Republicans, those Republicans, and maybe also some Democrats about why the U.S. is involved in this Middle Eastern strike?
Well, every time they make those arguments, President Trump proves them wrong. President Trump inherited a very dangerous world. Remember, we have not seen a world like this since the 1930s, where you had an axis of evil. It is called the crinks today. China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea. China has now tried to influence our hemisphere. President Trump has reversed that. Think of the embarrassment that America had after Joe Biden in Afghanistan. He has now made America stronger. So those that attack him, he has proven them wrong when he went into Iran and when he went into Venezuela. And he has everybody working so well together. With the reports coming out, what John Radcliffe has been able to do with the CIA, when you look at Venezuela, they were able to capture him in a few minutes in a military base being protected by the Cubans. President Trump has reshaped the strategic arms of the world. We haven't seen something like this until we had Reagan, Thatcher, and the Pope. It is making the world safer. And those that fight against him within their own party, they are on the wrong place, and history will prove them wrong.
How's the polling on this, first glance? It's only been, 48 hours less, maybe. But how is he getting the credit that you're saying he deserves for it?
Well, I don't think he's really worried about the credit today. This is about what does the world look like. If Iran was ever able to have a nuclear weapon, the world would be different. Henry Kissinger wrote a very interesting article with Graham Allison before he passed about this is the longest time we've ever been in a peace where the world power has not been in a world war. 80 years. There are 9 countries that have a nuclear weapon. If Iran is able to have a nuclear weapon, there'll be 40s and it'll be an unsafe world. And if President Trump seems to be the only person to actually change the direction of the path that the world was going into. It's much what Reagan, Thatcher, and the Pope did against the Soviet Union. And remember, what he's doing in the Middle East today and why he went there on his very first trip, it was to lower the price of oil, put pressure on Russia to end the war in Ukraine. This really puts a lot of pressure on China, too. It's pushed China out of our hemisphere. China needs 11 million barrels a day. They're the ones that are going to be harmed the most here. Americans becoming energy independent, making sure we're going to get our own critical minerals. China's going to be in a much weaker position because President Trump was elected, and the world is going to be safer.
A lot of layers to this. Former Speaker Kevin McCarthy, always a pleasure to talk to you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Yes, so I hear you. So the baptism in water is symbolical. Is symbolically done. The baptism in the Holy Spirit, that's not symbolical. That is God. That is the Holy Spirit coming over your life. That's another baptism. So don't get too caught up. Don't get too caught up on the whole wording or whatever you're thinking there. Don't get too religious. Remember, we want to build a relationship with God. We don't want a religion that is just man-made and nothing is about God. Jose says, Dennis, you think the market will drop due to this conflict? I think the stock market is always going up and down. If you look at if you look at what the stock market means, it'll tell you that it's just a fear-monger tool or an incentive or a tool to incentivize people to invest in stock. It's always changing. It's always up and down, no matter what. But those who are patient, those who are very smart, will know where to invest. I think any time that a country or a certain company is going through some hardships. Now, I don't do stocks, but if you like to gamble, people that know how it moves, they can always invest. And the more you risk, the more you make, or the more you lose. So I don't really live by the stock, even though I can make a lot of money, right? But who knows? I'd rather depend on the economy, on the local economy, because that to me is the economy of the country, not the stock. The stock market is not the economy of the United States of America. That just tells me that if the stock is going down with a certain company, well, they might just go out of business, and that should just give you some sort of alert to say, hey, listen, is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? What can we do? What is being done? And then that's kind of how you can rearrange things. Like, for example, if you knew that Argentina, for example, right? They have a certain product that we get from them, and a lot of people buy stocks from this specific company. But all of a sudden, people start talking about, hey, Argentina's economy is boom, 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 going like this, doing like that. And then people are like, oh, shoot, I don't want to be part of that. But then, they have talks, right? The president of Argentina has talks with President Trump. Hey, you know what? There's a chance. There might something is going on. Maybe we should continue to invest on this, which, you can lose all your money, or you can just kind of hold back a little bit, and just see what happens. It's a gamble. However you slice it, it's a gamble, and I don't like to gamble with that. All right. All I can tell you is when tariffs came out, a lot of people lost money. But I will tell you what, I made about $8,000 on my 401k because of the stocks. So, you know what? I'm glad because I was supporting tariffs 100%, and I still support tariffs 100%. You want to buy low and sell high. Absolutely. I don't play that game. So that's you're the genius on that part, I think. So go on and do what you got to do. All right, guys, the phone number It's back on the screen if you want to have a conversation. The topic is Iran. I want to hear from you. What do you think about what's happening in Iran? Okay? You have 5 minutes when you call in, and just give me your opinion about what you think is happening in Iran. Do you have any questions, any doubts, any ideas of what might be going on? And, just have a conversation. Let me know what you think. Go ahead and call the number up there. That's why it's there. Doubled my invest in 12 months. My wife had a heart attack when I invested, but then after the year, she was like, can you do that again? My wife tells me the same thing, but it's not investing. Oh, man, you better be 18 and older to be in this show. That joke was only for married couples. Only for married couples. All right, do we have anybody that wants to call in? Anybody that wants to call in? If we don't have anybody to call in, I want to read a couple of articles for you here. Okay? All this advertising, not my intention. The Atlantic publishes recordings of its journalists getting kicked out of Jasmine Crockett's event. I don't know what the hell this is about, but I found it very interesting. And let's see. On Tuesday, Semaphore reported that an Atlantic journalist was kicked out of Crockett's campaign event on Monday in Lubbock. Is that how you say that? Lubbock or Lubbock? I don't know. In Texas. You're from Texas. Tell me how you pronounce that. Let's see. And she says, in the event after Crockett denied the interaction happened. On Tuesday, Semaphore, I just read that, I think. Let's see. Campaign in Lubbock, yeah. When asked about it on Wednesday, Crockett, who is running for Senate, says there's no evidence of the exchange, saying it's silly season, before adding that journalist has a history of being less than truthful and has been sued for defamation before and lost. On Thursday, Godfrey identified herself as the journalist who was tossed out of the event. Oh, man, I love this. It is sad that there is any news outlet that actually would have her on staff when you know as a journalist, the one thing that matters most is truth. But on Friday, Godfrey published the audio recording of the exchange between her and one of the event staffers. When Godfrey asked why, she said the staffer looked at her phone, and I don't know why I'm looking to the side. Let me move this screen over here because you're not reading it. I am. They just said, Elaine from Atlantic, white girl with a hat and notepad. She's interviewing people in the crowd. She's a top-notch hater and will spin. She needs to leave. Godfrey said security guards then escorted her out of the building. Jeffrey Goldberg, editor-in-chief of The Atlantic, said in a statement shared to HuffPost, to Crockett's behavior is unacceptable. Now, what would you expect from a Democrat politician? I mean, I can't say that all politicians are liars, but I can tell you that all of these swamp Democrat politicians are liars for some reason. I don't know. This is what they choose to do in their politics. All right. So here's an article that let me go ahead and share the display here. I think. All right. I'll leave the letters out there, but I want to show you this picture that I'm looking at. Okay. Now that's Robert Jr. there, Robert Kennedy Jr. working out. All right. So you have that in your mind. Now, this is what is reported about it. Let's see. Secretary of Health and Human Services Robert F. Kennedy Jr. will not stop working out on camera. He does push-up competitions with the Department of the War Secretary Pete Hegseth. They said defense, but we know it's war. Hegseth, and pull-up challenges with the Transportation Secretary. But in a recent workout, the health secretary went one step farther. Can you imagine the audacity of this Robert Jr.? He rides an exercise bike shirtless in his jeans. How dare he? Teaming up with the musician Kid Rock to also pump iron and drink milk. The deception. Animations of shark, military aircraft, and the United States flag opened the 90-second video to the Kid Rock tune of Bawitdaba. I don't know what that is. I'm not a Kid Rock fan. And then it says this. And it's the latest example. Listen to this. It is the latest example. Oh, hold on. You gotta wait now because I'm finishing the article. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna pick up, but I'm gonna have to make you wait. Okay. All right. Who's calling?
Hey, what's going on? It's Bobby.
Bobby. All right, Bobby. Hang tight. Hold on. And the latest example of how key members of the Trump administration are using official government channels as their personal locker room to show off ripped muscles. How dare they? While the U.S. is on the brink of war with Iran. Hegseth filmed himself attempting to bench press over 300 pounds while stating, gotta keep the butt down. Guys, this is unbelievable. These Republican politicians, the Secretary of War, this Maha, Robert Jr., how dare they go work out and teach people how to be healthy and stay fit? They're just using us. Unbelievable. That is the top story for them. That's sad. That's very sad. All right. Thanks for holding, brother. What you got to say? What you got to share about tonight?
Oh yeah, just kind of on the subject of Iran, something kind of what you've been talking about, and something me and a friend of mine were discussing.
Yeah, what's up?
Is it good or bad? I don't know. My main our main thing is just the average people of Iran. Now, you mentioned, if something goes wrong, Trump says, they're going to be met with the fury that they've never seen before. But doesn't that mean the average citizen of Iran is going to have to get killed? These sounds like something massive explosions. What if you're a bus driver, carpenter, you're just a regular Joe living under that regime, which is not good. Not good. Don't get me wrong.
Yep.
But if the response ends up being something so big and massive, it's going to haven't he just taken the place of the terrorist regime? I'm talking about killing. If this response is going to be as massive as he says, if things escalate, what good is that going to do for anybody?
I think it's a legit concern, but the biggest concern is here, right, in our nation. But I think that what he's talking about is you have to keep in mind that they have. Don't quote me, but I think it's like they have 1 million military soldiers that support that regime. I think that's their military force. 1 million soldiers is what they have, and we have like 2, I think, or something like that. I think what he means with that is that they're not going to leave any trace of their military. They're going to destroy everything that they have. All nuclear facilities are being hit, I believe. They're just going to take care of all the military. And what he wants is, remember this, he says, and this is why I think this way, okay? He said to put your police and military, put your arms down, your weapons down, and stand down, something like that, right? You know what I'm talking about. Stand down and don't retaliate, instead help your people, right? Be part of the solution, so to speak, not the problem. So I think that that the message was received across the world. And the other thing that we should also look into is that these people, and it's not that I'm trying to say that I'm smarter than them or that I'm more courageous than they. When I tell you that these people are stupid, that took over the regime, it's, and cowards, is because they don't show their face. Of course, they don't want to make the threat, in live TV and be handled, right? Like Khomeini, and Nicolas Maduro. They're cowards. They don't want to show their face. Why don't you go ahead and say who you are and, that you're attacking? They don't want that. And the bad thing that they're doing is that they're attacking their own people. And so what does President Trump mean by, a fury that you have never seen before? I am going to be assuming that it's just going to be obliterating the whole military and any type of capability to make any type of weapons. The only thing I don't like about that is that we have this history of helping other countries build their military, and then they just turn on us. We like Mexico. I don't know if you know about that, but the Zetas in Mexico, these are military from Mexico that we trained, with the Navy SEALs to be badass soldiers, and well, they're the cartels now. So that's the only thing I don't like about this war.
Yeah, no, I understand. I mean, that happened with Reagan during the Iran and Iraq war.
Yeah.
Yeah. Start Iran.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, it sounds good in theory, and obviously we love to eliminate the 1 million soldiers, whoever's against. But I just think it's feasibly not possible. I mean, look at the 60 little girls that got killed. Really before that hit yesterday.
Yeah.
You're going to be this. I mean, it's
yes, there's going to be death. Yeah.
This to be the bad guys.
Yeah.
But I mean,
I think innocent people. I think innocent people are going to die. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's all, and I think that's the part you got to really be careful about.
Yeah.
Is not losing that support. If more innocent people, like more construction, every nurses, doctor, a school teacher, the average neighbor start getting killed.
Yeah.
And blown up, and just it's gonna get a little hairy. And that's all.
You know how I say it. Think about this yourself, and try to put I like to put myself on other people's shoes sometimes just to see what it looks like. And I can tell you this, and you probably, of course, you probably know this, and you have seen it, and maybe you are like this. When real patriots, real people that care about their people, their nation, they will sacrifice their lives for what they believe. And the way that I look at war, it's we have over 80% of the Iranian population giving praise to Trump, thanking him. They hate the regime. And when I look at them, it's like this, never forgotten. And they have, this jerk that just got killed over 30 to 40,000 of his own people for protesting. And so if we don't do anything to help them, war is not a funny thing, but it's crazy. War, it teaches you fear, and by experiencing fear, you get the outcome of courage. And I will say that even though innocent people will die, or probably will die, if they die and we don't do anything to help, they died in what? They died in what? There's a word for it. Right? If they're if they sacrifice their lives for a cause and we don't do anything for them, they died in vain.
Yeah, in vain, or the Muslim culture we call it martyrdom.
Well, in Spanish, like I always tell people, in Spanish is more descriptive, so it's easier to kind of get my English. But yeah, it's that they will die in vain, and we don't want them to die in vain. What happens after a war? We mourn. We cry. We shed tears of joy. We have peace. We have anger. We have bitterness. We're sour. We're sweet. We celebrate. We mourn. All those things happen, but that's what's dirty about war.
Yeah, and we're so fortunate to live in this country in which we can kind of talk about from this kind of imagine what it could be. We never had war in our soil. I mean, we've had 9/11 attacks. There's been
Well, we have plenty of war here. It's just history.
Had missiles, obviously Pearl Harbor, but we haven't had missiles raining down in our neighborhoods or in the downtown district. And speaking of another question regarding the war and signing up, I mean, I come from a family of militaries. Since World War II, every single grandfather, uncles, Korea, all of it. We've been in every single war, even to the last Afghanistan debacle. Something just something doesn't sit right having Trump be so eager to do these things without him or any of his family ever being in the military. I don't know how hard it could be. We lost an uncle in Vietnam. My grandfather, cousin got killed in the first invasion of Iraq. So it's that's all I'm saying is very careful about how life is just dispensable. Oh, we cry, we mourn. No, there's real pain, like you mentioned. But I think he's too flippant to do these things. Him not knowing the real cost of war. I mean, I guarantee none of his sons are going to be in the front line or anything like that. I just think he's a little reckless. I hope everything works out. Don't get me wrong. It needs to work out. I think a little bit more caution would be better. But this is where we are, and we got to hope for the best.
Just remember, no problem. Thanks for calling. Remember this: 9/11 and Pearl Harbor. Okay. God bless you, man. Thanks for the call. Appreciate you.
All right, right on.
Hey, thanks for calling. Who's calling?
Hello?
Yeah, who's calling?
Who's this?
You're calling me.
Oh, I'm sorry. I must have got the wrong number then.
Okay, no problem. You call the Dennis Herrera show, and we're talking about Iran.
Oh, okay. Maybe I didn't call the wrong number.
Okay. What's your input you have on Iran? Do you have any tips? What do you?
I have no idea. I was just seeing if the number worked, to be honest with you.
Is that right? Yeah, well, it's the real number. Thanks for calling, buddy.
All right.
Later. Everybody knows now the phone number works. Hey, what do you guys think, my patriots? What do you guys think about my new lettering sign for people to call in? Faith Walker. That is funny. That is hell funny. I appreciate that color, man. I need a laugh. That was awesome. Yeah, we've had plenty of wars here in our country, and maybe we haven't had these missiles, like the new technology and everything, but cannonballs were just as horrible. And the way our stupid Civil War was is we just line up and see who can kill the most from the other side and who gets luckier. We don't war stupidly anymore. Now, while we know that casualties are almost unavoidable, I think by now the Iranian people should know that they should be away from military bases and command center buildings, right? Like the two buildings that they shut down with the missiles. I think that was the command center where they organized to kill all the protesters. I think that's what it was. It was two buildings that they hit up. Robert, that's right, baby. That's right. And you know what? And I thought about him, just so you know. Okay, so any type of animation that I do on here, this I don't know why it's. I'll probably make more things like that, right? Like a banner. I don't do that stuff. I know how. I will probably make a banner and so that you guys can see a little bit better than this crap that I have on here. But you know what? I'll keep working on it. I'm not too worried about the presentation. I do in a way, but I am too lazy to do all that extra stuff on my channel. I have 20 plus things open on my computers, believe it or not. Yes, one of them is the chat as well. But I try my best. I gave you that flag. I know you wanted it. So you got the flag because you requested it. You guys are my members. You guys support me in this channel. So in a way, you're sort of the boss. but not really. Don't get carried away. Don't be like the Karens that go out there and tell the police, I pay your salary. They don't pay their salary. I don't think they're paying the police salary. Some of our taxes are we're paying for them, but again, we get it back anyways. Some people don't get money back. That means they actually paid taxes, right? So I get some taxes back. I don't get everything back, so I do pay taxes. But thanks to the big, beautiful bill, thanks to President Donald Trump, man, I'm getting hot. Thanks to President Donald Trump, I am getting some money this year. Celebrating, getting some money like a lot of people out there. They get these big tax refunds. And you know what? It's my time. And I say thank you, President Donald J. Trump, for putting in the one big, beautiful bill. Anyways, continuing the talk from last night, let's go ahead and switch gears a little bit. I want people to call in and let's talk about gas prices. I want to talk about gas prices. Tyler, how are you, bro? I see you. Thanks for joining, my friend. I want to talk about gas prices, clean coal, and I want you to tell me, what do you think about it? Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? You know, just give me a call. Anybody. Even one of you patriots can go ahead and call in. Anybody can call in, and let's talk about gas prices and the clean, beautiful coal. I love that. The libtards were talking. Oh, what is this? Let's take a. You know what? Let's take a listen. I like Morgan Freeman. I don't know what he's saying here, but let's take a look at this little. There is a little article about him here. It says Morgan Freeman has blunt 3-word response when asked about AI trying to mimic his iconic voice. Let's take a look. Morgan Freeman is in his 7th decade of working in Hollywood, and even at 88 years old, still doesn't have any concrete plans to retire from the industry. Having appeared in both the third Now You See Me movie and narrated Ken Burns' American Revolution in 2025, it doesn't sound like he's exceedingly enthused about potentially having one of his signature traits duplicated and taken advantage of by AI companies trying to make digital performers like Tilly Norwood more of the norm in an industry where human creativity has always reign supreme. Yeah, interesting. I like that. Let's see. Appearing on CBS Mornings News in a clip shared to Instagram, Morgan Freeman was asked about his stance on the wave of AI startups attempting to use likeness of actors to populate their user-generated videos. And for a guy who's known for waxing poetically with his dulcet tones, caller, hang on the line for me. Stay in there. And their generated videos, and for a guy who's known for waxing poetically with his dulcet tones, the 7 vet showed off some very non-artificial brevity with his snappy responses. I got lawyers. And that is the response that you should have. And you know what? I'm okay for AI. They imitate President Trump's voice, etc. I really think that they have gone overboard with it. Nobody knows if Trump or the Democrats or Republicans or if anybody really is saying these things nowadays, especially when they bring these, oh, I recorded this and I recorded that. Yeah, well, you know, AI can screw up a lot of things. All right, caller, thanks for holding. Who's calling?
Hello?
Yes, who's calling?
Oh, okay. It's a little hard to tell whether I'm on or if I'm just waiting in the pool. Yeah. I just wanted to say, this is one thing that doesn't really come up in the rhetoric of people. There's a lot of naysayers about Trump and why he's not helping inflation or anything. Or, hey, if he's dropping fuel prices, and I'm in transportation and trucking and freight and such, everything anyone has in their home, in their daily use, anything, any object, any food, anything in their work has been brought to you by a plane, a train, river barge, truck, or van. And what do they all run on? Well, they don't run on dreams and stardust. They run on fuel. And if the prices drop for your transportation, they drop for everything else that you have. And when everything else that you have drops, somewhere in there, I think inflation drops.
Yep.
I'm not an economist, but I believe that to be so.
Yep, it does. And I've seen that. I mean, just throughout history, right? When you see prices go up, inflation is up. Prices go down, inflation goes down. Now, I'm not an economist either, but what I hear is that we want to be around 2.5 inflation rate because everything is going up anyway. And that I heard from economists that is a healthy number to be at. But the prices with gas, what I don't understand is the argument that a lot of people have. They blame everything on President Trump, and I have to say, even if the big boss, it might do something to affect pricing, I think that the responsibility doesn't shift from the governor and the mayors that have a budget to maintain. Like right now, for example, gas prices haven't gone up according to the barrel of oil, but from January 1st or the end of December, gasoline here in Washington State was at $3.09 at the pump. It is now $4.50. Price of the barrel of oil is still at the same price. So why is the gas price so? That's $1.40. Imagine I fit 22 gallons in my car. That's an extra $30 to $40, in my tank. Well, I'm probably exaggerating there. What is that? $1.40? I mean, 22 gallons. That's $22. Yeah, it's about $30 plus, right? Per tank. And I had to use 2 tanks of gas a week. Some people use more than that because of the traveling. It catches up. And on top of that, it's not just the gas is up. You just mentioned everything. And I agree with you. Everything. And food, all these prices go up. Clothing, clothing sometimes. But, we have a problem that the Democrats don't want to address. And a lot of people don't seem to think is a problem. I love migration. This is a great country. We have a lot of migrants that have helped build this country. But they come here for money. They come here to provide a labor. Some of them serve in the military. They're great. Migration is fantastic. Massive illegal migration is like locusts coming to your farm and eating all your crops, leaving you with nothing when you had plenty. And I think that that's one of the things that we have with affordability when it comes to housing. You already know the whole, supply and demand.
I'm in Kansas City, and I'm in the northeast Kansas City, and it's a very big-time immigrant area. Now, most of the immigrant people that come here do a lot for our economy. However, there's a lot of people here who take advantage.
Yeah.
SNAP, WIC,
yeah.
HUD, oh my God.
Yeah.
And also they wire a lot of money untaxed out of the country,
Yep.
Western Union.
Yeah, and you know what the harm in that is? It's like, unfortunately we can't really track it, but we know it happens. And the way that I look at it is I look at the remittances, right, from Mexico, for example, to Mexico, for example. And Mexico gets about $61+ billion every year from remittances of Mexicans, whether legal or illegal, from this country to Mexico. And that's just Mexico. There's a lot of people from Honduras, Guatemala, South America. I mean, the president of Honduras that just got beat, she was telling the United States of America on her X account, she was telling President Trump and the administration to get American troops out of Honduras because we don't give them anything. And I'm just like, wait a minute. But the reason why she said that is because she says we want the American troops out of Honduras unless if you don't let our illegal immigrants stay in the United States of America because our economy depends on the illegals that are in the United States of America. Now, I don't know how stupid you have to be to tell the world that truth, but can you imagine how would you react to that? Like, hey, listen, I need you to get your troops out of my country. Either you allow my illegal immigrants to stay in your country because my economy depends on the remittances. We're waiting for those dollars, billions of dollars to come in here, or get your troops out of my country. How would you react to that?
Boy, well, first of all, I'm hearing that, and I don't know what to think of that. Now, I know that El Salvador has a humongous number of people in this country.
Yep.
And having seen their prisons, again, you got to know those prisons where you've seen them, where all those guys are in there.
Sick-cut.
Yeah, but not all of them are in there. A lot of them got away, and where are they? Well,
yeah.
Yeah,
you know, we in Central America, we blame, I say we because I'm from there too, we blame the United States of America for the gangs. The MS-13, 18, all those gangs, they were born here in California, here in the United States of America, you know, and the stupid policies that we have, you know, with this whole catch and release thing, we allow them, you know, to go back to their country with nothing, and all they got was a graduation certificate of gangbanging in jail. You know?
Yeah, I wondered about that.
Yeah, and they went back there in the 70s, you know, and, 80s. 80s is probably the worst that I can tell you about. But, you know, I myself, have seen family members in pieces in the black garbage bag. So they're animals. They still exist in Honduras. And, I know that some of the police in Honduras is trying to combat these. But it's going to take a long time before anything happens because, Nayib Bukele, the president from El Salvador, people stood up against him. And I'm not talking about citizens. The citizens supported him 100%. But we're talking about the socialist Democrats that they have down in El Salvador, these human rights people that, they want to protect criminals and forget about the law-abiding citizens. They fought him big time. And he is now a dictator. And they hate him, except for the people. The people love him. But the opposition hate him because he had everybody in the cabinet, everybody investigated. And he found a lot of corruption, fraud and abuses, as we're doing here in the States. And, he put all these people in jail. They got fired. They found new people. People voted new representatives in and all this other stuff. And now Salvador is not the best, beautiful-looking country in the world, but it's the safest, and they're moving in the right direction economically. Their priorities right now they are tending to some of the infrastructure for some of their very important bridges, and they've been building some beautiful universities and schools with the latest technology, which is having laptops and all these things that makes it easier for us to find information and to educate ourselves. So it's if Honduras can do the same, Guatemala is already starting to do the same as Nayib Bukele. Nicaragua, you already know, is a communist country, just like Cuba. There's a lot of work to do. But I think that the United States, at least not everybody, right, but the United States of America, at least right now with us, with Trump and the administration, we are trying to help the world be a better place. And no matter how other people look at us, they want to hate us and they say that we're hateful and we're trying to divide everybody. It's not that. We want, America first, and when we say that, some people get lost with that, and I'm gonna change gears with you on this, to going back to the gas. The gas goes down in price. You've seen it. You're a driver. You fill up. You can feel the pain. But the problem is that you have seen the price go down on the barrel of oil. That's how you have to calculate it. Look at the barrel of oil We were at $130 per barrel. We're probably sitting around $68 to $72. It's still up there, right? But it needs to be up there. They need to make a profit. They got to make money. But think about it. We're going from 130 a barrel to, let's say, 70 right now, to 70 a barrel. That is still about $50 to $80 cheaper. So why is the price going as expensive as it was during the Obama era? While the Biden era, when we were at 9.7%, inflation. Why are the prices that high when we know the barrel is cheaper still? It makes no sense. Why will we go from $3.09 to $4.50? It is beyond me that people don't see what the problem is. If you're Trump, okay, and I'm the governor, I'm your governor, and you lower the barrel to $70, and I have my gasoline at $3, okay, when you lower at that, you keep the price around the same price, and I just went up over $1.40 per gallon. That's not really a good tax. Yeah, I mean, to me, that's robbing the people. That's stealing from the taxpayers. You're forcing businesses to raise prices.
I haven't thought of anywhere else in the country except California, where California
That's the highest, yeah.
has cap and trade. You know what cap and trade is?
Yes.
They have it within their state where at one time they wanted it across the country.
Yeah.
And also for all the vessels going to sea, cap and trade, and they ain't yet. And but California said, "Well, never mind, we're going to have it ourselves." And I do not understand how people in California can put up with that, especially when it's an agri state, or was. I don't know what it is doing now.
Yeah.
Because prices for produce in California affects the rest of the country. That's insane.
Yeah.
So I don't have answers. I just have observations, but I don't have answers.
Well, that cap to me is ridiculous, because even after everything, all the pollution that we throw out in the air, like they say, number one, we're not God. We're not going to stop climate change. We have gotten through several ice ages in this world, and we are still a lot lower than most countries in the world. So why punish us, the Americans, for their stupidity around the world? This whole trade cap bull crap has gotten even worse, that now they wanna charge per mile driving. Isn't that ridiculous?
I thought that thing went with FJB.
Yeah, they have all these stupid policies in place that, I mean, it's not helping Californians. And they brag about being the fourth largest economic, state, and they give so much, they give more than Republicans. But I'm like, okay, what are you bragging about? You're grabbing more money from your citizens, but they don't see the difference. They can afford housing. Millionaires are leaving your state because of your incompetence with the budget. You're bragging about having this biggest, economic, state and all these other, things on there, but the people can live. Like you're squeezing every dollar out of your working constituents in your state. I don't think that's anything to brag about, So
I don't live there. I haven't been there in a long time, but I just don't know how that governor, he is a slickster.
I don't understand. You know what?
Car from that guy?
Yeah. I don't know why people see him like that. I don't see him like that. I don't know. I don't get intimidated from nobody. So maybe that's what the problem is. Nobody intimidates me.
Well, he doesn't intimidate me.
With talk.
I wouldn't buy a used car from him.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. You got it. You know what? All you got to do is use common sense, critical thinking, and you're good. You don't have to be the smartest. Just think about, what he does and what he's been doing. How many years now? And how many billions of dollars is California is billions of dollars in debt. And all the Democrats come in here, and it's not because I'm not a Republican. I am a policy supporter. Okay? And right now Republicans have the policies that I agree with. So I support that. Ironically, as I said before in my show to other people, it's these are democratic policies that we actually have in place with the Republican Party. So, it's everything Democrats. I supported Democrats before. Everything we had before with Democrats is what we have with Republicans today. So, if somebody said that switching or flipping back in the 80s is a lie, I can tell you 2026 is true. The Democrat Party has flipped. They go rogue. They don't care about Americans.
Well,
it's unbelievable.
I don't know. I'd like to hear your opinion on this. People say that Donald Trump and Tulsi Gabbard are what in the 1990s
Democrats.
Democrats.
Oh yeah, Trump was a whole life Democrat. He's never been Republican. I believe.
So the dial has changed.
Yeah. Well, so have we. I mean, a lot of Americans that they're like Senator Fetterman. These Americans that are Democrats because they're still Democrats. That's who they choose to be because of a tradition, sometimes with family tradition, right? I understand that, but they're not loyalists. They're patriots. Like they're awesome Americans, like Senator Fetterman, who chose to put country first before party. And some people don't understand what that is, but this is what I understand. Okay, you can think something different, but this is what I understand about country first, party second. We have this competition between Democrats and Republicans, right? You're a Republican, I'm a Democrat. You know what? I'm going to fight you. I am going to insult you. I'm going to pepper spray you in the campaign, and you and I, we're going to go tooth and nail, and we're going to fight and all this stuff. At the end of our fighting, doggone it, you won. Yeah, well, democracy, right? The people have chosen. I know Trump said that they cheated. I agree. I've seen the evidence from other countries using the same software. Whatever it is, right? But at the end of the day, the way that it's supposed to work is I put my country first. The people voted. The people chose to have you, not me. So now I'm going to lick my wounds. I'm going to go ahead and put some Band-Aid and some, triple ointment to heal, and I'm going to have your back. Okay, let's go with your idea. But if you screw it up, that's you. I'm just going to help you, do what you think is best for this country. And that's the way that I see Americans working together. I don't care what party you belong to. If you're fighting for the American people first, if you're trying to put national security first, if you're trying to make sure the Americans are moving on up economically, financially, as a business, let's do that. All the Democrats from the 90s used to be for America first. And now instead of supporting the nation, supporting local businesses, factories, manufacturers, etc., they decided to go globalist. And because they have made millions of dollars with it. They don't care what happens to you and me, the working people. They just want their money, And it's funny because they, crazy Bernie, he's always campaigning about tax the rich with AOC. And I'm just like, bro, if you get rid of the rich, who's going to create the jobs? Who do you think is going to pay for your expensive shit over here? The poor people can't do that. The homeless ain't going to do it. You think the homeless is going to go over there and create jobs? No. You need corporations to bring jobs, You think you and I, okay, you're a trucker. You think you can have an office space in a building at the what do you call it? I'm thinking in Spanish, doggone it. Anybody that speaks Spanish, what's rascacielos? What do you call the tallest buildings? Skyscrapers. Yeah. You think you can afford an office at the top of a skyscraper being a trucker?
No.
Hell no. It's going to be so expensive. It's going to take millions of dollars yearly for you to afford that. And so you need rich people to afford these prices. Not only are they paying more taxes than we are, you pay more than me if you're a trucker. I know that for sure. But think about this. Not only are they paying more taxes, they got more expensive cars that we can't afford, but they can. That helps the economy, right? They can put gas and waste it on jet skis and boats and all this other stuff. They don't care. They're putting that money in there. They have it easy. They can do it, blah, blah, blah. And then they're paying millions of dollars for housing. And then, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, when we look at rich people, millionaires or billionaires, and we start being hateful towards them or envious of them, then we lose ourselves. And I'm a big work ethics guy. You know, if you have a 5-bedroom home because you're a trucker and you do all this money compared to me, you know, having a 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom apartment, maybe a 4-bedroom apartment, I'm not going to be mad at you. When I go to your house, oh, damn, that's a nice grill. You know, I want to give you props. I'll be like, wow, man, nice car. Whatever you have, I'm going to give you props because I've been taught by my God that I got to bless people. It doesn't say I got to bless the poor. I got to bless everybody. You know, love my neighbor. I want everybody to be successful, you know.
Well, I have no animosity to any rich people except those who, you know, screw anybody, poor, rich, any, you know.
Soros.
There was a candidate from the 1990s named Ross Perot.
Oh, yeah, I remember him. The little elf ears.
Yeah.
I remember. Yeah.
He had a thing, you can't do business with people who don't have money.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. You know what's crazy? And the reason why that is because it's so hard to find honest people nowadays. I'm gonna tell you a story. I know you're new to my channel. I'm gonna tell you a story before I let you go. I really enjoy the conversation with you. I like talking to people older than me. They have better stories than me. I'll tell you a story. When my mother brought me to this country back in '89, she took me to this house. My mother, you know, she has a 2nd grade education. There was an accident. You know, she lost an eye, and so she's a laborer. She cleans houses. Okay, she takes me to this. She takes me to this house to help her. She says, but really, I don't have a babysitter. I'm 13. She don't want to leave me alone in the house, and she wants to teach me responsibility. So she takes me with her, and she says, "Go and clean that room." And there was the kids' room. Okay, I go in this room. And there is dollar bills all over the place. 5s, 1s, 20s. These people were rich. The house is a huge house, big property. And it's in a suburbs, you know. And so I go in there, and you know what? The honesty that my mom has taught me with innocence, right? Because there has to be an innocence in there. You know, I remember grabbing all the quarters, all the dimes, nickels, pennies, etc., and grabbing all the bills. And I remember flattening the bills. And I put the biggest was 100, the 20s, 10s, 5s, and 1s in order, facing in the same direction and all the heads up, right, from the bills. And I would just line them up, and I just was so proud of myself because I didn't take one dime. And then I would put the quarters and, you know, everything just stacked. And then, of course, my mom would just grab all of it and put it in the bottle. But I was so proud, you know, of myself that saying, bro, if I take $20, he ain't gonna know. This kid's throwing money everywhere. He can't keep track of this, right? And then I make his bed, and of course I did a horrible job, by the way. I thought I did good, but I did a horrible job because I walked out of that room. I looked back inside and I saw the bed was made. I already vacuumed. I cleaned the dressers. I put the money nice and neatly. I thought this room looks phenomenal, immaculate, right? And then I leave. And then my mom, of course, does the actual cleaning. When I go back to that room, I didn't do shit. Like, this room looks clean now. Like, it really looks clean, you know, because 13 years old, you know, for me it was clean. But till this day, I know my mother passed away already, but, you know, till this day, I have never cleaned as good as my mother ever cleaned. But I give you that because, you know what? If you don't have honest people handling your money, they will steal from you.
Ask a lot of rock stars and music stars.
Yeah.
Oh, my
God.
Yeah.
They've been ripped off. Yep.
A lot of people got ripped off.
A lot of them.
By the record companies, their managers.
Especially the managers of the record companies. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you know what? The
personal managers.
Yeah, and some of the government has taken advantage of some of that money, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Well, nice talking to you.
Yes, thank you for calling. Fantastic. I love having you. That was great. You have a wonderful night. God bless. Man, I love having people that bring out the best in me. If you guys have been with me for, you know, since I started in August, most of you, you know, have you noticed the difference on the way people call and the way that I talk to people that call me? They bring the best out of me when they are just being honest, having a nice conversation. You know, I've told you guys these stories if you have been on my channel before, and I told you the stories before, but you know, it's so much better to have a nice time with somebody than to be fighting somebody, and I really mean it. I don't care if you're Democrat or Republican. I think that we all should try to find a way to work together better together, and truly be, you know, undivided. I hope that you guys had a good time tonight. I appreciate every single one of you guys. Thank you guys for the super chats. Thanks for staying members with me. It means a lot. I appreciate you. Cool Cat Renee, I don't think I said hi to you today. Maybe I have. Maybe I haven't. But I love you, big bro. Thank you guys for being here. Paul, good to see you again. Paul says, I grew up, if you stole off your family or friends, you better start stepping. Yep, absolutely. Faith Walker. I want to thank Robert, the sponsor of this episode tonight. Thank you for the coffee. Appreciate you. Brian and Robert. I'm going to give props to both of them for the coffee of tonight. And as I said before, love my President Donald J. Trump. Everybody can judge him and hate him. I like to look at facts. I like to make my own opinion about people. And I can tell you, every single person that called me, except for that one guy, everybody else that called me in to actually have a conversation, thank you so much. You guys are fantastic. I hope to see you guys tomorrow. You guys have a good night. Enjoy the rest of your evening. I know some of you guys are East Coast. I can't believe you're still with me. God bless you. God bless your family. And God bless the USA. Love you all.